What if Issei and Basara became Vergil and Dante after betrayal?
Hello everyone, welcome to What If Issei and Basara Became Vergil and Dante After Betrayal movie. Before we start, please go support Luis Darth 4236 for writing that awesome fanfic. This is the translated version I made. There will be some mistaken characters' gender, but of course Issei is a male. Issei and Basara have been great friends since they were little, but they were betrayed by their friends, families and loved ones, leaving them on the verge of death, but they would be rescued by their true parents, who reveal their origins and awaken their true power. Chapter 1. The Betrayal. It was a night in a forest in Japan, and traces of blood could be seen, and with the moonlight two bodies of two brown-haired boys were seen with many wounds and holes in their bodies. These were Issei Hyoudou and Basara Taoju. Issei. Basara. How did they end up dying like this? We will go back in time. 4 hours before. Issei and Basara were friends since they were 7 years old and were best friends and even had many things in common. They were both kinky but not to an unhealthy level, and they even liked cooking and designing things. They entered the academy earning the name of the perverted duo. One day they met two girls who invited them on a date, but it was a trap to kill them. They both went through many adventures, but they had something they loved. Some deeds were Rias, Gremory and Millionaires. Rias. Recently they were depressed. The reason is that after what happened in the fight against a faction of heroes, the girls of the harem of both distanced themselves from them. Issei. I don't know why the girls don't talk to us anymore, sad. Basara. I support you, Issei. I don't know why almost no one talks to us, sad. Issei. Not even Drake talks to me, seriously. Basara. It's a bit strange, but we shouldn't complain now, we have to do something to kill time, smiling. Issei and Basara walked away but saw the girls walking and both lowered their power so they wouldn't be discovered. But after walking for a while they arrived at a park and then they saw something that broke their hearts. Rias and Issei's girls were kissing a black-haired boy. The boy with whom Issei's harem kissed. The boy that Basara's harem kissed. Issei and Basara were very depressed, their girls had deceived them, they could not believe that they had been betrayed. Issei and Basara left the place very sad for what they had just seen. Issei. I didn't care about them as much as I did for them, crying. Basara. I don't know what I did wrong, I gave my life for them, this is how they repay me, crying. Then Issei received a message from his parents, saying that he and Basara had to go to the underworld, it was urgent. Issei and Basara had no choice, and Issei and Basara had a thought. In the underworld. Issei and Basara arrived at the underworld, but they felt that something bad was going to happen. When opening the door of the meeting room were all the leaders of the factions, even were Mio's parents and Issei's parents and Basara's parents, and to the surprise of both were the boys with whom the girls cheated on them, and everyone looked at them with hatred and disgust. Issei. What's happening, because everyone is looking at us like that, curious. But instead of receiving an answer he was stabbed by Kiba and Zenobia, while Basara was stabbed by Chisato. They both fell to the ground from their injuries until Sirzechs spoke. Sirzechs. Issei Hyoudou, you are no longer useful to us, therefore we will take the red dragon from you, serious. Issei couldn't believe it, not only was he betrayed by the girls, now the factions turned their backs on him. Yusin. Basara, now you are no longer useful to me, daughter. Now we will take away your magic, seriously. Issei. Why are you doing this to me, Drake, help me, in pain. But then the green gem appeared. Drake. Get me out of this, pervert, annoyed. Issei couldn't believe it, Drake was betraying him. Issei. Why are you doing this to me? Sad. At that Rias approached Issei and began to do a ritual so that something would come out of Issei's body and materialized, revealing a red-haired girl. Issei was in stone, Drake was a woman. Issei. You are a woman, surprised. Drake. I was always a woman, I just didn't tell you, fifth-rate pervert, annoyed. Issei before he said another word felt pain as his pawn pieces were being taken away. Basara was going through similar torture, only his armor and magic were taken away, leaving him quite hurt. Rias. I regret having reincarnated you. I only used you and seduced you so you wouldn't suspect, with disgust. Issei was in stone. Rias knew that there were fallen angels, but she waited for him to be killed so that he could join her entourage without opposing. At that point the Hyoudou approached. Mickey. I can't believe I had a son like you, annoyed. Boru. From now on you are no longer our son, and Asia is now our daughter, hugs Asia. Rias. Also, the new red dragon will be my new fiancé Ken, kissing the black-haired man. Leo. Basara, he's my new fiancé Renzo, kissing the blonde. Now both of them started to be tortured by their ex-harem and ex-friends and ex-families. After 3 hours of torture both were very moribund. Azazel. Now we get rid of you, smiling arrogantly. Kaneko. I don't want to see that trash anymore, annoyed. Chisato. Neither do I, annoyed. So they left the dying Issei and Basara to the Kuoh forest to die. Returning to the present. Issei and Basara were in their last moments, but suddenly they disappeared from the forest. Unknown location. We are with Issei and Basara who were dying, but Issei before losing consciousness saw two people, one was a man and a woman. Issei lost consciousness, but the woman spoke. Woman. Sparda, help my babies, they are dying, with tears. The man known as Sparda spoke. Sparda. Calm down Eva, I'm going to save our children, seriously. At that the woman known as Eve spoke. Eva. Do something, worried. Sparda began to use magic to save Issei and Basara from death. Thus the wounds of both disappeared. Sparda. Dear, let's wait for them to rest and then we'll talk to them, seriously. Eva. I hope so, seriously. Thus, both entered a palace so that Issei and Basara could rest. Chapter 2. The Truth and Training. Issei and Basara had been betrayed by their friends, loved ones and families, and their powers were taken away to give them to the girls' new fiancés, saying that they were better than them. But when they were left in a forest to die they were rescued by a couple who were Sparda and Eva. In the room. Issei and Basara healed the wounds caused when they were betrayed. Issei slowly began to wake up. Issei. Where am I, serious? On that Basara began to awaken. Basara. Issei, where are we, serious? Issei. No, he doesn't, seriously. At that, they both looked down, remembering how they were betrayed and replaced by boys supposedly better than them. Issei. I can't believe we did so much for those, and this is how they repaid us, with some tears. Basara. I saved my life many times, and this is how I got even my family who betrayed me, with some tears. Issei. Apparently we were just toys to them and they threw us away like trash, with more tears. But at that moment the door was opened revealing Eva and Sparda. Issei. Who are you, seriously? But instead of an answer, Issei and Basara received a hug from Eva. Eva. My babies, I'm glad you're safe, with some tears. Issei and Basara were confused by how Eva spoke to them. Basara. Who are you? Confused. Sparda. I am Sparda and this is my wife Eva, smiling. Issei and Basara were in stone since they had heard stories of the Dark Knight Sparda. Eva. And you are our children, smiling. Issei and Basara were in shock but didn't understand why he told them that. Sparda. I know you are confused about how you are our children, I will tell you everything, the reason why you are adopted, seriously. Issei and Basara. We are adopted, surprised. Sparda. The reason is that we had to give them up for adoption since we had many enemies and we were afraid that they would come after you and you don't remember us since we sealed your powers and memories, seriously. Now everything made sense to both of them. They were adopted and with good reason their families also discarded them. They were not their children and they had grown tired of them. Sparda. Now I'm going to remove the seals, seriously. So Sparda approached Issei first where he placed his hands where he began to say some words that Issei and Basara did not understand. At that Issei began to change. Issei's hair turned white and his eyes turned blue and his size increased and his clothes were replaced with blue ones. Ignore Yamato. Issei was surprised but all his memories came back to his head and that his real name was Vergil. From here on Issei will be called Vergil. Vergil. Now I remember everything, mother, father, seriously. Eva couldn't stand it and hugged her son. Eva. My boy, now you remember everything, curious. Vergil. Yes, mom, smiling. Now Sparda approached Basara and did the same as with Vergil. Basara's hair grew a little and his muscle mass increased and his eyes were no longer green, they were now blue and his clothes changed to red ones. Ignore rebellion. From here on Basara will be called Dante. Dante. Mom, dad, brother, smiling. Eva hugged Dante with much affection. Eva. My boy, now you remember, smiling. Dante. Yes, mom, smiling. Vergil. Now that we know everything about our past, it's better if we start training, seriously. Dante. True, now we must become stronger, seriously. Sparda. My children, we have gifts for you, smiling. Sparda took his children to a room in the house. Sparda gives a katana to Vergil. Sparda. Vergil, this is Yamato, a sword that is unbreakable, it can cut anything, and you can do the dimensional cut, now it's yours, smiling. Vergil. It's okay, smiling. Spread the other sword to Dante. Sparda. Dante, this sword is called Rebellion, it's the same as Yamato, but different, smiling. Dante. Thank you, father, we will train to be stronger, smiling. Sparda. Now I have other gifts for you, smiling. Then he takes out a chest. The chest had some strange pistols, but they were great. Sparda. My children, these weapons have infinite ammunition and can be useful for attacking from a distance, smiling. Now I take out other things that were hidden leaves. Sparda. These are hidden blades so they kill without making noise, smiling. Vergil and Dante took the hidden leaves. Sparda. Now let your training begin, smiling. Vergil and Dante nodded. Thus began the training of both, where they first learned several attacks. Then they learned the devil trigger, I don't know if it's spelled like that. Then they learned how to use guns. After that they trained harder to become stronger. One day while Issei was training, he entered his mental space but was greatly surprised to see a dark dragon. Vergil. Who are you? Looking at the dragon. Dragon. Hello partner, my name is Zero the dark dragon, smiling. Vergil was surprised, he had a dragon inside him, he didn't know it, this took him by surprise. Zero. I was always with you, but I was sealed, that's why you didn't feel my presence when they removed the seals, then I could be free, and I'm not like that bitch Scarlet, seriously. Vergil. Incredible, surprised. Zero. I can also make red and white look ridiculous, smiling. Zero. Also, the white divide doesn't work on me, it only increases my power, with pride. Vergil. That makes sense, smiling. Zero. I must also teach you how to master my power, seriously. Vergil. Let's train, smiling. So Vergil began his training to become stronger, and first he managed to obtain the glove. Issei also mastered the balance breaker. Later he learned many more things like fusing his sword with his armor. Then he learned dragon wings. Their wings evolved over time. Vergil. I must keep training to get stronger, seriously. So Vergil continued with his training to become stronger. While Dante had obtained an armor similar to Issei's, only this one had purple gems and purple wings. Dante's armor. After that they both continued with their training to become stronger. Sparda. My children, your training is over, it's time to go, seriously. Vergil. Okay, father, smiling. Dante. Now let's go with mom, smiling. So Sparda makes a dimensional cut to leave the dimension where they were training. Upon returning they met Eva. Eva. My children, we have to tell you something, seriously. Vergil. What's up, curious? Eve. What if we had a kingdom to live in? Curious. Vergil. Are you sure, mom? Curious. Eva. Yes, dear, smiling. Dante. That took us by surprise, but now we must go, seriously. Sparda. Vergil, do you know a place to make our kingdom? Curious. Vergil. I know a place, smiling. Eva. What are we waiting for? Smiling. So Vergil makes a dimensional cut so that everyone leaves. Chapter 3. A new kingdom and two new girls. The Sparda had gone elsewhere to build their new kingdom. In his previous life, Vergil had found a kingdom, or rather a destroyed city. Vergil. Welcome to the kingdom of Astoria. This kingdom ceased to be habitable during the Holy War, but over time it was inhabited by humans, but it was destroyed during the Second World War and was never heard from again, seriously. Sparda. How about we rebuild it, smiling. Eva. What a great idea, dear, smiling. Dante. How about we create our own faction, smiling. Vergil. Good idea, bro, so those fools won't be able to find us, smiling. Sparda. What are we waiting for? We have to build this kingdom, smiling. So everyone began to rebuild the kingdom over time until they finished the palace. They also managed to finish the kingdom until it looks like new. The kingdom of Astoria. Vergil. Now the kingdom is finished, smiling. Dante. Now we must make our kingdom grow, smiling. Eva. Well thought out, my children, smiling. Sparda. Now let the new kingdom begin, smiling. So the four began their movements to make their kingdom bigger. They offered shelter to the poor and the homeless. One day Vergil was training in an area until he felt that there was someone in the forest where he was training. Vergil. What's going on, seriously? Vergil walked for a while until he approached a lake to see his reflection. Vergil. One day I had friends and lovers, but they discarded me as if I were garbage, they are not my problem, let them live their life, I live mine, seriously. But at that moment Vergil looked up and saw a young woman with dark hair and a black dress. Vergil had a serious face, but the beautiful woman saw him. Woman. Who are you, seriously? Vergil. It's rude to say who you are without first introducing yourself, seriously. Woman. Okay, my name is Pandora, smiling. Vergil. Now that I know your name, I'll tell you mine. My name is Vergil Sparda, smiling. Pandora, seeing that smile, had a look of desire on her face. Pandora. And what were you doing here, curious? Vergil. I was training because, seriously. Pandora. And what were you doing training? Curious. Vergil. To be stronger with my new kingdom Astoria, even though I'm not the king, seriously. Pandora. Astoria, surprised since I had heard of that place. Vergil. Well, I have to go since they must be waiting for me, seriously. When Vergil was about to leave, Pandora stops him. Pandora. Wait, can I go with you? Sadly. Vergil. Because, curious. Pandora. I've been sealed here for a long time and it's boring to be here. Many years ago I was sealed and I was surprised that you entered this dimension, blushing. Vergil. Okay, you'll come with me and I'll break that seal, seriously. Vergil with his power manages to weaken Pandora's seal until it breaks completely. Vergil. Now let's get out of here, seriously. Vergil opened a portal where he entered with Pandora. With Dante. But Vergil's twin brother, he was training in another forest to be stronger, but he went out for a while. Dante. Wow, this training is better than those Taoju, they gave me seriously, they discarded me, but let them live their life, I'll live mine, seriously. Dante would continue training until someone appeared in front of him. The person who appeared in front of Dante was a woman with violet hair wearing a white dress. Dante. Excuse me, miss, getting the woman's attention, seriously. The beautiful woman looked at Dante and couldn't help but blush. Woman. Who are you? Looking at Dante. Dante. You must say your name first, seriously. Woman. It's true, my name is Athena, a little blushed. Dante. Well, my name is Dante Sparda, smiling. Athena was surprised, she had heard of the Dark Knight Sparda and didn't know he had children. Athena. Seriously, you are the son of the Dark Knight Sparda, surprised. Dante. So to speak, yes, but you are not the goddess Athena of Olympus, curious. Athena. Yes, but I'm going here to be calm, smiling. Dante. Well, I have to go home, seriously. When Dante was about to leave, Athena took him by the arm. Athena. I want to go with you, blushing. Dante. Seriously, confused. Athena. It's been a while since I left here and I want to go with you, blushing. Dante. Okay, let's go, seriously. So Dante opens a portal and both enter through it until they disappear from that forest. Chapter 4. The Advancement of the Kingdom. Previously Vergil had met a woman named Pandora, while Dante had met Athena, and both arrived at her kingdom. Vergil was with Pandora who had arrived at his kingdom. Pandora. Wait, this is the kingdom you told me about, curious. Vergil. So to speak, yes, smiling. But at the entrance were Dante and Athena. Dante. Brother, who is she? Curious. Vergil. She's Pandora, smiling. Pandora. It's a pleasure, smiling. Athena. I am Athena, smiling. Pandora. Nice to meet you, seriously. So the four entered the castle. There were Sparda and Eva. Sparda. My children, I see you've returned, smiling. Eve. And who are they, looking at Pandora and Athena. Vergil. Our friends, smiling. Pandora. It's a pleasure to meet you, greeting. Athena. It's a pleasure to meet you, smiling. Eva. How polite, smiling. Everyone entered the room to talk. Pandora had noticed a picture of two chestnut trees in a water park. Pandora. Who are they? Pointing at the photo. Vergil and Dante left because they did not want to remember their past life. Pandora. I said something wrong, seriously. Sparda. Girls, you should know something about our children, seriously. Sparda told Pandora and Athena what Vergil and Dante were like, who used to be called Issei and Basara, and what their lives were like until they were betrayed and replaced by boys supposedly better than them, and how both were thrown away like garbage. Pandora and Athena had different reactions. Athena couldn't help but cry for Dante for all he did in his old life, and they paid him back by betraying him. Pandora had anger and hatred towards Rias, since she was the one who caused Issei to join her entourage, since she waited for him to be killed, so that he would join without opposing. Athena also felt a bit of affection towards Dante. Pandora had a goal to make Vergil happy, she wouldn't let him go through the same thing. But Vergil had a memory in his past life. Memory of Vergil before Issei. Issei. I will be the king of the harem, smiling. End of memory. Vergil. What a silly dream, that was my old self. Now I'm not interested in a harem. Now I have a dream, serious. Vergil takes Yamato and removes his sheath. Vergil. I'll be the king of this kingdom, it's better than a silly harem, seriously. Vergil left the room to take a shower. With Dante. Dante was meditating and remembered something. Memory of Dante before Basara. Basara. Chisato-sensei, I would like to have a harem and I want it to be with me. I don't care if it's a goddess, smiling. Chisato and Basara kissed. End of memory. Dante. I thought she loved me, Chisato, but it was all a lie, she threw me away just like she did mine and my ex-harem and my ex-friends and my ex-family, they all threw me away like garbage, let them live their life, and I live mine, seriously. Dante went out to the castle's lookout to look at the kingdom. Dante. Vergil will be king one day, but I will be his right-hand man and substitute king, in case something happens to him, seriously. Dante was watching from the balcony. After that the security of the kingdom had improved and the soldiers had great armor. They also had special weapons. The soldiers' weapons. Basically Astoria has great technological advancement to such an extent that it was a futuristic city. So the kingdom was in very good condition. Chapter 5. The Kingdom's Advance, Part 2. After the arrival of Pandora and Athena many things happened. The soldiers' weapons were very powerful like a sacred gear and could even match the true Longinus spear. Pandora had known Vergil best, while Athena knew Dante best. One day they were training until Vergil had an idea. Vergil went to talk to his parents. Vergil. Mom, Dad, I have an idea for the kingdom, smiling. Sparda. Which son, curious. Vergil. How about an academy or institute for people with magic so they can learn magic to protect the kingdom, smiling. Eva. Son, that sounds like a great idea. This way we'll have wizards to defend the kingdom, smiling. Vergil. Now I have the name Astoria Magical Institute for people with potential, smiling. Sparda. Splendid, this way we will have more defenses for the kingdom, smiling. Vergil. I'm going to build the institute, smiling. So Vergil left, leaving his parents to talk. In an empty lot in the kingdom Vergil used his magic to build the institute. 1 hour later. The institute was finished and only the students were missing. The Magical Institute of Astoria. Vergil. The kingdom now has an institute for warriors to learn how to use their magic. There are 4 classes. Lower class, middle class, upper class, and supreme class, smiling. What Vergil is trying to say is that there are kinds of magic. Lower class. Novices who know magic and defend themselves. Middle class. Little by little its magic is growing. Upper class. Those who are a prodigy in magic. Supreme class. Those who are most powerful in magic. Titles are not obtained, they are earned through training. Vergil hired Chifayu Orimura to be the director of the academy. Chifayu won't be so angry. Vergil. Chifayu, you know that titles are only earned based on whether you are strong, and this institute will be for those with magic to exploit their potential, seriously. Chifayu. Agreed Vergil-sama, with respect. Vergil. Don't call me that, I'm not old, call me by my name, smiling. Chifayu nodded and was now the headmistress of the Magic Institute. With Dante. Dante was training with his dragon named Kuoh. Kuoh appearance. Kuoh. Well done mate, keep training, smiling. Dante. Who would have thought it was great to have a dragon in me? Smiling. Kuoh. Keep training, smiling. Dante. Now I'll have to use the armor more, smiling. At that Dante cries out. Dante. Balance breaker. At that Dante had the dragon armor with purple wings. Dante. I must be stronger like my brother, smiling. So Dante would be training with his armor since he wanted to be stronger. With Vergil. Vergil was in his dragon armor, but his wings changed to other but different ones. Vergil. The armor is incredible, smiling. 0 from the gem. Keep it up and you'll master the Juggernaut drive, smiling. Vergil. It's okay, smiling. So Vergil would be training to better master power. Days later. The Magic Institute was open for magic users and it can be any magic from elemental to sorcerer magic. We are with the students of the institute first the lower class. Yukirito magic type. Lightning magic class. Low. Bitsuka Shido magic type. Water magic class. Low. Now the middle class of the institute. Natsu Dragniel type of magic. Fire and dragon magic class. Medium. Brave Fullbuster magic type. Ice magic and ice dragon magic class. Medium. Now the upper class. Meliodas magic type. Dark magic and control of demonic magic class. High. Ichika Orimura type of magic. Technological magic and controlling technology with the mind class. High. Now girls first lower class. Akashi Yamoka magic type, vampire magic and vampire skills class, low. Origami Tabiichi type of magic, ghost and spirit magic. Now the middle class. Lucy Hertfilia magic type. Celestial angel magic class. Medium. Shield magic type. Mineral magic that can use minerals to create weapons and armor class. Medium. Now comes the upper class. Became type of magic. Dark energy not like Meliodas but it is very strong. Aoi Rozu Momo magic type. Creation and volcanic lava magic class. High. There are only 2 supreme class ones. Scathach type of magic. Light and darkness and by consuming blood can create weapons with blood is immune to poison, even Samuels is the only one with that gift class. Supreme. Urza Scarlet type of magic. Elemental magic of all elements and different armor and a sword that is capable of killing gods called the Blood Sword class. Supreme. The Blood Sword. This is so they don't tell me that girls are weak, this is to show that girls are strong and not underestimate them. And Scathach barely survived the test but earned the title with great difficulty. Chapter 6 Confessions. It had been a while since Vergil built the institute and he knew perfectly well the level of the institute students, but he knew that little by little they would awaken their true power. Vergil was training with Zero and was ready for the Juggernaut drive. Vergil. Are you ready Zero? Smiling. Zero. Ready mate, smiling. Vergil. I, the one who woke up, am the dragon who was among the shadows. I run towards danger and despise sleep. I will become the dragon of darkness and sink you into the depths of the kingdom of shadows. Juggernaut drive. At that point Issei's armor changes to one with a dragon appearance. It seemed like he was out of control, but Vergil was calm. Zero. Incredible, you've mastered the Juggernaut drive perfectly. Smiling. With Dante. Dante had reached the Juggernaut drive, but it was purple. Dante's Juggernaut drive. Both of them mastered that state 100% and were quite strong. After that they both returned to the castle. Upon arrival they were greeted by Pandora and Athena. Pandora was with Vergil while Athena was with Dante. Vergil. Pandora, now I must tell you something, blushing. Pandora. What are you trying to tell me? Curious. Vergil. You see, in my old life I had a ridiculous dream of having a harem, but after my betrayal, I started to reflect and realize that that dream is ridiculous. Now I don't need a harem, but someone who loves me as I am and not for what I tempted, smiling. Pandora. Okay, and what else? Curious. Vergil. Now I realize that there is a special woman for me, blushing. Pandora. Which one? A little jealous. Vergil. You Pandora are the special woman for me, you are sincere, you are scary when you get angry, you are funny, strong, beautiful and the most wonderful. You saw me as Vergil and not as a Sparda, since I only want someone who loves me for who I am and not for what I have, and I must tell you that I love you, blushing. Pandora. If I'm honest Vergil, I love you too, you're someone special to me. Sometimes I'm a little jealous since there are girls who notice you, but you're my love, plus you're afraid that I'll betray you like that bitch Gremory, and I'm not like her. I'm usually scary, but I don't fight just for the sake of fighting, and I don't want to get away from you, blushing. At that moment they both came closer until their lips fused in a tender kiss. More or less like this. Vergil had taken Pandora by the waist while the woman took Vergil by the neck, thus deepening the kiss. There was a battle of tongues where Pandora won. That moment between them was magical, they wished it would never end, but they had to separate due to lack of air. Vergil. Pandora, do you want to be my girlfriend? Blushing. Pandora. Yes I want, blushing. So they both kissed again and started their courtship. With Dante. Dante stood before Athena in a beautiful viewpoint of the kingdom where everything could be seen. Dante. The kingdom is incredible, all of this, the magic institute, the security, the citizens, seriously, this is life, smiling. Athena. If it's beautiful, I wonder what's happening now, curious. Dante. Athena, I have to tell you something, blushing. Athena. What do you want to tell me? Curious. Dante. There is a very special woman in my life and I feel a lot of love for her, blushing. Athena. Who is it? A little jealous. Dante. It's you, blushing. Athena was very red, she was the special woman for Dante. Dante. Since you came into my life you fixed my heart, you don't lie like my ex-harem, that harem dream is now a silly dream, I don't need many girls, I just need one that loves me. You saw me as Dante and not as a Sparda, you saw me for what I am and not for what I have. I just want to say that I love you Athena. I don't care if you have power or a body, I don't care what you have, I see you as a woman, despite being a goddess you are important to me, whether or not you have power or beauty, I love you Q. Blushing. Athena. Ah Dante, I love you too, you saw me for my feelings and not for my body or power. I don't understand how those ungrateful people replaced you with a pretty face, blushing. Dante. Athena, do you want to be my girlfriend? Blushing. Athena. Yes I want to be your girlfriend, blushing. So they both kissed each other on the lips, thus beginning their courtship. In the castle, Eva and her husband saw the confessions that Pandora and Athena made to their children. Eva. Now our children will be happy, smiling. Sparda. They closed the wounds those ungrateful women made, smiling. Now Vergil and Dante had a beautiful couple and they are better than their ex-harem. Chapter 7 Prequel. This is a special and prequel. Here it shows what the lives of our protagonists were like before they were betrayed. We are with a brown-haired boy playing in the park. This boy was Issei Hyoudou. Issei was calm in the park until Issei ran into a brown-haired boy with green eyes. Just ignore the sword. Issei. Hello, smiling. Basara, hello, smiling. Issei. My name is Issei Hyoudou, what is your name? Smiling. Basara. My name is Basara Tauju, smiling. Issei. Do you want to play with me? Smiling. Basara. Of course, smiling. So they both started playing in the park where they got to know each other better. Issei. Do you want to be my friend? Smiling. Basara. Of course, smiling. So they both became friends. Whenever Issei could, he played with Basara and over time they both became best friends. Issei and Basara also played knights with Yule swords and armor made of cardboard. After that, both parents met and became friends. Issei had a great friend since Irina left for England. Issei and Basara played together, chatted a lot and had almost the same tastes. At age 10, Issei and Basara competed in a car race, but they built their own car. The prize for the race was tickets to the water park, but these were premium. The race was somewhat complicated, but they won. They went to the park with their families where they took pictures and spent time together. After that, time passed where both became a little perverted from the age of 14. They went through great adventures like one trip or another and also various things like trips to the arcade and several more before entering the Kuoh Academy. Chapter 8 Alliances. Previously Vergil and Dante confessed their feelings to Pandora and Athena and now they became a couple, now they were happy for their partners, now that they were better than their ex-harem and they left that dream in the past. Vergil only had one partner and he doesn't care about a harem anymore, just one partner was enough for him. Pandora was happy that Vergil reciprocated her feelings and was now Vergil's girlfriend. Athena was happy that Dante had accepted her feelings and was now Dante's partner. Vergil and Dante trained hard with their dragons to become stronger and protect their loved ones, and they wouldn't let them lay a finger on their loved ones. Now we see Vergil in the second phase of the Juggernaut drive that he had achieved with difficulty. Vergil. Wow, it's really hard to master this phase, but it's worth it, smiling. 0. It seems you want to be stronger, smiling. Vergil. I have to be stronger, seriously. Vergil trained with his dragon power so as not to always depend on his Sparda power. Dante did the same thing as Vergil, but they both liked to train so as not to lose their power. At the institute. Rito and Shido trained to be stronger, even though they were low class, they were quite strong, but they couldn't beat a middle class, much less a high class. Rito. Shido, you have to be strong, smiling. Shido. Yes, smiling. Both were training to move up in class, but they knew it would not be easy since they must fight to earn the middle class. That's when Natsu and Gray arrive. Natsu. I see that you want to fight to earn the middle class position, smiling. Gray. They know they have to earn their place, it's not easy, smiling. Natsu. Who says that, confused. Gray. Those are the rules, seriously. But the supreme class girls. Urza. Gosh, friend, who would say that these exercises are easy, smiling. Scathich. Yes, thanks to my power I am supreme class, smiling. Urza. Well, we have to keep training, smiling. Scathich. You're right, smiling. But Vergil and Dante. Sparda and Eva called their children to talk. Vergil. Why did they call us? Curious. Dante. I was on a date with Athena, seriously. Sparda. My children, we would like to have an alliance with the factions, but not those that betrayed you, but the others, smiling. Eva. This is to have allies, smiling. Vergil. I see, seriously. Dante. Well now that, curious. After that they all went to Mount Olympus where they would have alliances with the Greek faction. When they arrived they saw many gods, and one of them was Zeus. Sparda, Zeus' old friend smiling. Zeus was surprised in front of him was Sparda. Zeus. Sparda, my friend, it's you, surprised. Sparda. If you don't remember, my friend, we spent time as friends and then we got to know each other better, smiling. Zeus and Sparda clashed fists. Zeus. But it's Eve, hello, it's been a while, smiling. Eva. How did it go? Smiling. Zeus. Good, smiling. Then another god arrives, he was possessed. Poseidon introduced himself and then everyone arrived at the palace where they met the other gods. Sparda and Eva told that previously Vergil and Dante were called Issei Hyoudou and Basara Tauju, but they were betrayed by those who should be their families and friends in harem and how they were used and discarded like garbage. The gods were upset, even though they were gods, they appreciated their warriors and would not discard them like garbage. They signed an alliance with the Sparda faction, which is what the Sparda faction is called. Vergil and Dante spent time with Pandora and Athena. They are very happy with them because they are sincere, not like their ex-harem. After that the Sparda faction made an alliance with the Egyptians and the vampire faction, where they found out what Vergil and Dante went through when they were betrayed. Chapter 9 Repentance. We are in an area where the faction leaders and the warrior leaders and the Hyoudou and Tauju were. But what stood out most was that they had a look of regret and guilt. Well, the girls had a lot of guilt and regret. You might be wondering how they ended up like this, well let's go back in time. 4 months ago. We are right after our protagonists were betrayed by their ex-harem, ex-friends and ex-families. They were happy to get rid of Issei and Basara and believed that they were not useful and that is why they betrayed them. Sirzechs. Now that those trash are gone, let's have a celebration, smiling. Azazel. What a good idea, smiling. Michael. What are we waiting for? Smiling. So in the underworld a celebration took place where Rias and Mio were happy with their fiancés since they were fed up with Issei and Basara. They were all happy with their new fiancés and they were fed up too. The Hyoudou and Hyoudou made Ken and Renzo their new children because they saw that they were better than Issei and Basara. After the party they had to lie that Issei and Basara died against the Chaos Brigade because if it was known that they betrayed them, they would have a bad reputation. Sona Sitri and her entourage minus Momo and Raruko were also in Issei's harem. Momo and Raruko did not agree with the factions since they saw that Issei and Basara were good, but they discarded them as if they were trash, but as friends since they were with Saji. Saji was upset Issei was like a brother to him and was not involved in the betrayal and did nothing since he knew he could not win against the factions. Valerie Lucifer was also in Issei's harem, but she also betrayed him. After that, classes at the academy resumed and so as not to raise suspicions, they said that Issei and Basara moved to the country so as not to raise suspicions. A few days later Rias and Sona had hex with Ken, as well as the girls from both of their entourages. Mio and her friends had hex with Renzo and admitted that he was better than Basara. But elsewhere. Tannen and Great Red were upset with the factions and as a result the dragons left the alliance. Big Red felt evil in Ken and Renzo, but he had to have proof and with the help of Saji and those who were not involved in the betrayal would help to discover who they really were. Big Red had a human appearance when he followed Ken and Renzo. The human form of Big Red. Great Red was very quiet and suppressed his power so as not to be detected. After that the girls had rounds of hex with Ken and Renzo. But by the second month the boys were acting weird. Big Red still hadn't found any evidence, but he wasn't going to give up. But within a few days there began to be a series of murders of demons, angels and fallen angels. Nobody knew who it was, but Big Red had a feeling it was Ken and Takeda. The Scarlet Red Empress did not know what was happening. One day there was a meeting of the factions to discuss what to do with those responsible for the murders. Sirzechs. I don't know who's doing this, seriously. Azazel. We don't know who does it or why, seriously. Michael. What disgusting souls would do something like that, seriously? Enemu. This is what we all want to know, seriously. Gabriel. Those who commit these murders must pay dearly, seriously. But then a portal appears where Big Red comes out, but some chains appeared and chained Ken and Renzo. Rias. What do you think you're doing, annoyed? Mio. Let go of my fiancé, annoyed. Big Red. I want to show who they really are, seriously. Then that Big Red projects the memories of Ken and Renzo. In memory. Ken. Seriously, Rizavam Sama benefited us with this, smiling maliciously. Renzo. They've also given us everything those idiots took from them, laughing like a psychopath. Ken. Plus those dogs fell into our trap, making fun of the girls. Renzo. They think we love them but it's not true, they were just toys, smiling maliciously. End of memories. Everyone was in shock. Ken and Renzo were from the Chaos Brigade. Great Red took away their powers and then burned them to dust. Rias remembered what Issei was like before she discarded him like trash. Mio was reminded of when Basara even gave his life to make her happy, but she threw him away like garbage. Rias, Issei con lagrimas. Mio. Basara, with tears. Issei's ex-harem. What have we done, crying. Basara's ex-harem. What have we done, crying. Nikki. My baby what have I made, crying. Jackie, Basara's ex-mother. What did I do? I threw away my baby, crying. The matriarch is still the mother of Basara. Everyone was the same so they went to where they left Issei and Basara. But the surprise was great when he saw that there was no one there. Everyone was sorry for almost killing Issei and Basara. If anyone wants to go hunting, please tell us in the comments. Then everyone looked for Issei and Basara, but they found nothing. Scarlet was devastated. She had betrayed a kind-hearted boy and traded him for a pretty face who turned out to be a member of the Chaos Brigade. They still had no trace of the chestnuts, but they were not going to give up. Chapter 10 Commitment. We are in the kingdom of Astoria, more specifically in the Sparta Palace where Dante was training with his brother Vergil. Vergil. Who would say we are so strong, brother, smiling. Dante. And to think that those sacred gears would make us stronger, mocking. Vergil. Yes, but at least we're not with Rias and Mio, seriously. Dante. I hope everything gets better, smiling. Vergil. Dante, I've been thinking about something, smiling. Dante. In which brother, curious. Vergil. How about we make Pandora and Athena our fiancés, smiling. Dante. How, surprised. Vergil. In case our ex-harem comes to ask us for a sorry, come back to us and hypocritical things, seriously. Dante. You're right, I bet they must be suffering, but we won't kill them because it's a waste, seriously. Vergil. At least you thought well, seriously. After their training they both returned to Sparta Castle. Eva and her husband were in a video chat with the Greek factions. Eva. So you saw that our children are planning to get engaged to their partners, smiling. You may wonder how they know about the plan of the two albinos, well they had hidden cameras for that reason and the Greek faction threw a crystal ball. Zeus. They deserve happiness, those idiots who use them will pay for what they did, killing them is not an option, since it is a waste of time, seriously. Sparta. Now let's help our children with their engagement, smiling. Eva. Good thinking, dear, smiling. After that we go with Vergil who was with Pandora. Vergil. Pandora, I want to ask you something, blushing. Pandora. What love, curious. Vergil. Do you want a date with me tomorrow? Blushing. Pandora was very red, she and Vergil had dates, but this time he seemed nervous. Pandora. Of course, love, tomorrow will be our date, blushing. Vergil. Thank you love, gives him a kiss on the lips. Pandora kissed him back and then went to shower. With Dante. Dante. Athena, do you want to go on a date tomorrow? Blushing. Athena. Of course love, blushing. Then they both kissed. The next day at 7 p.m. Vergil was wearing an elegant suit but without a tie. Sparta. Son, you're quite a gentleman, smiling. Eva. You know everything you have to do, seriously. Vergil. Yes, I should ask Pandora to be my fiancé, smiling. Sparta. I hope your goal is achieved, smiling. Vergil. I hope you like it, blushing. Eva. He'll definitely like it, smiling. Sparta. Now go for it, smiling. Eva. Son, you have everything planned, smiling. Then Vergil was in the room, but his brother Dante appeared. Dante. Brother, you have a date with Pandora, smiling. Vergil. And from what I see, you have a date with Athena, smiling. Dante. You're not wrong, smiling. At that Pandora and Athena came down. Pandora was wearing a black dress while Athena. Pandora. Athena. Vergil Dante. They are beautiful, both blushing. Pandora Athena. Thank you, blushing. Vergil took Pandora and Dante took Athena. Vergil. Pandora, now we're going to dinner at a restaurant. I made a reservation, smiling. Pandora. Seriously, blushing. Vergil. Now let's go to the restaurant. Smiling. Then the two went to the restaurant where Vergil made the reservation. Then a waiter arrives. Waiter. Welcome to Bistro Astoria, smiling. Vergil. Sparta table for two, smiling. The waiter checks the list and sees Vergil's name. Waiter. Ah, he came for the reservation, follow me, smiling. Then they both follow the waiter and arrive at the table. Vergil helped Pandora sit down. Pandora. Thank you, smiling. Vergil sat in his chair. Waiter. What do you want to order? With a notebook and pencil. Vergil. Pandora asks first, smiling. Pandora. I want steak and breadsticks and rustic potatoes, smiling. Vergil. I want roasted chicken with corn fingers and pieces of bread, smiling. Waiter. Something to drink, smiling. Vergil. Champagne and pineapple soda, smiling. Waiter. What do you want for dessert? Curious. Pandora. I want a 3 milks cake, smiling. Vergil. I have a cup of ice cream, smiling. Waiter. Right away, smiling. The waiter went to deliver the couple's order. Pandora. You had everything planned, blushing. Vergil. I just want you to be happy Pandora and tell me the truth, do you love me for who I am or for what I have, serious and curious. Pandora. I love you Vergil, I don't care if you are the son of the Dark Knight Sparta, I would still love you, I don't care about your lineage, I don't see you as Sparta, but as Vergil, you are cute, kind, somewhat cold, but that is the man I fell in love with, without any lies. Vergil saw what Pandora was saying through his power, and he didn't present a single bit of a lie when he said that. After a while they brought the food and they started eating. Vergil ate like a gentleman since he was in an elegant restaurant. Afterwards they ate their dessert where they both shared their desserts. Afterwards the couple went to a dance where they both had fun while dancing. But now we are at the viewpoint where the kingdom could be seen. What happened in Dante's quote? Well, Dante took Athena to a fine restaurant where they both dined on lobster and roast beef and ordered wine. Afterwards they both went to an arcade where they played couple games. Current viewpoint. Vergil kneels down as does Dante and both take something out of their pockets. What they took out were rings. The ring that Vergil took out. The ring that Dante took out. Vergil. Pandora, I've wanted to do this for a long time. I love you, you would make me the happiest man, blushing. Dante. Athena, since I met you, you were a great woman, you are sincere, you mended my broken heart when my ex-harem betrayed me, blushing. Vergil Dante. They want to be our fiancés, blushing. Both women were surprised they were going to be Vergil and Dante's fiancés. Both. If we want, blushing. Both kissed their respective partners. They were watched by Eva and Sparda, and it went without saying that they were happy for their children. Chapter 11. Fiancé and Reunion. Previously Vergil and Dante were engaged to Pandora and Athena, both were very happy with their respective partners. Vergil had already surpassed Rias and her ex-harem, since Pandora was a great woman since she was sincere and honest, not like Rias who only used Issei. Something similar happened with Dante. Athena wasn't like Mio, and she was always sweet and kind, but when she got angry she was scary. Now we see Vergil in his room that he shared with his now fiancée. Pandora. Vergil, blushing. Vergil. What's up, curious? Pandora. I want you to make me yours, with a seductive voice. Vergil. But it's still too early, blushing. Lemon skipped. It was another day in the kingdom of Astoria and we see the two brothers having breakfast, but Sparda spoke. Sparda. Children, I have something to tell you, seriously. Vergil. What's up, Dad, curious. Sparda. Trish wants to see Dante, seriously. The two brothers were frozen. Trish was Dante's fiancée. Athena. Who is Trish, curious. Sparda. She is Dante's fiancée, serious. Athena began to get angry and with a terrifying look she looks at Dante. Athena. Now you will explain to me, Dante, who Trish is, with a dark aura. To give you an idea of how Athena looks at Dante. Dante. I don't remember, really, I only saw you, I don't remember her, scared. But then a portal appears in the castle room where a blonde woman in black clothes came out. It was Trish. Trish watches the scene and approaches Dante. Trish. Hello dear, it's been a while, hugging Dante. This only caused Athena to turn red with anger. Trish. Dante, will you tell me who she is? With a gloomy face. Vergil. Run bitch run, in Dante's ear. Dante ran as if his life depended on it. Trish and Athena. Come back here, annoyed. Vergil. Seriously, father, I didn't even remember that Dante had a fiancée, seriously. Sparda. It's a long story, sorry. Vergil. I'm going on a date with Pandora, leaves. After that Vergil was with Pandora on a date where they went to eat ice cream at a very good stand. Then they went to the national park which was in the park. Vergil. Dante definitely has bad luck, but it's strange that they didn't tell me I have a fiancé, since in my past before they sealed my memories, I didn't have much luck with girls, seriously. Pandora. And what do you remember about Dante's fiancé? Curious. Vergil. Not much, but I only saw her the times Dante and I fought, seriously. Pandora. Makes sense, seriously. But Vergil would be thoughtful about that. Pandora. What's up, love? Curious. Vergil. I miss Office, sad. Office did not betray Vergil when he was still Issei, since neither she nor Great Red knew about the faction's plan. Pandora. Who is Office, serious. Vergil. The dragon goddess of infinity, she did not betray me when I was still Issei and I love her, but I do not know what to do, you are my fiancé, and I do not want to hurt you, but I do not know what to do, I am a fool, sad. Pandora. Seriously, love, she didn't betray you and you miss her a lot, seriously. Vergil. But even though I overcame my past as Issei, I still miss her, but I don't want to hurt you emotionally, since I also love you, and I will understand if you hate me, sad. But at that moment a portal opens revealing a black-haired girl. Vergil felt the girl's presence and it was Office without a doubt, but it was strange since the last time he saw her she was a lowly, but now she had an adult form. Office felt Vergil's aura and it was the same as when he was still Issei. Office. Issei-kun, with some tears of happiness. Vergil. Office is you, surprised. Office approached Vergil and had a pink tint on her cheeks. Pandora. Now I want an explanation, serious and with a terrifying aura. Vergil. You'll have answers soon, scared. An explanation and a beating later. Vergil. Office, my name is not Issei, my real name is Vergil Sparda, seriously. Office was surprised the man who stole her heart was the son of the Dark Knight Sparda. Pandora. Vergil-kun, can you leave us alone for a moment, seriously. Vergil. Okay, I'll leave you two alone for a moment, he leaves. Pandora. Now you will explain to me why you are here, seriously. Office. I miss the boy who stole my heart. I was really angry with the idiots who turned their backs on my beloved, sad. Pandora saw that she was not lying. Office. I was not involved in the betrayal, seriously. Pandora. So you're one of those who didn't betray Vergil, seriously. Office just nodded. Pandora. So you love Vergil-kun, seriously. Office. Yes, seriously. Pandora. It's okay if you want, I can share it, seriously. Office. Really, surprised. Pandora. Sure, but that's Vergil's decision if you want to be with him, seriously. Office. It's okay, serious. After that everyone returns to the Sparta castle where Dante is seen all beaten up and with some bandages. Vergil only had a few bruises, but they weren't very noticeable. And this office is close to Vergil. Office. Vergil kun Pandora, let me be with you, smiling. Vergil. Pandora, do you accept this? Curious. Pandora. Yes, seriously. Vergil. Office missed you for a long time and couldn't stop thinking about you, but he didn't want to hurt Pandora, sad. Office. I want to be your fiancé, blushing. Vergil. I really don't want to force you, seriously. Office. It doesn't matter, smiling. At that Office gives Vergil a kiss on the lips. Something like that. Then Vergil reciprocated the kiss and minutes later Vergil and Office separated due to lack of air. Vergil. Now my dragon, we are officially engaged, smiling. Pandora. And what about me, pouting. Vergil. Don't forget you, my dark queen, smiling. After that Office would stay with her beloved in the kingdom of Astoria. Chapter 12. Unwanted Reunion. Previously, Dante found out that Trish was his fiancée and that she got beaten up while Vergil reunited with Office. He obviously got beaten up but not as badly as his brother Dante. 6 days later. Let's see the brothers training with their respective swords. Vergil. We get stronger every day, smiling. Dante. Yes, I hope our power increases, smiling. Afterwards both brothers continued their training to have more power and not be weak against an enemy. After that, they both finished training and went with their respective partners. Athena and Trish got along well as the days went by. Office and Pandora get along well like sisters since they both loved Vergil. After that Vergil went with Office and Pandora while Dante went with Athena and Trish. Vergil. Girls want to go on a date, smiling. Office and Pandora. Yes, blushing. After that Vergil went to a restaurant with his fiancées and they ate like kings. After eating Vergil received a call from his father. Vergil. Dad, what's up? Curious. Sparda. Son, what's happening is that there's a meeting with the factions, seriously. Vergil went from being happy to having an annoyed face. Sparda. I know you don't want to see the people who turned their backs on you, but if you don't want to go, that's fine, but I won't force you, with a serious tone. Vergil. I knew that one day I would have to face the past, seriously. Sparda. I already spoke to your brother and he said the same thing, see you in 2 hours, hangs up the call. Vergil. I knew this day would come and it really had to be today, seriously. Pandora. Calm down Vergil kun Office and I will go with you, we won't let that period hair hurt you again, seriously. Office. I will also be with you Vergil kun, I will never leave you like the period hairs and the emo did, referring to Sona or the rats that stabbed you in the back, seriously. Vergil. Thanks girls, I can always count on you, smiling. Pandora and Office. We will always count on you too, smiling. After that, 2 hours passed and there were the Sparta family, Vergil and Dante's fiancés. The Sparta family's bodyguards are Urza, Scathach, Meliodas and Ichika. Sparta makes the dimensional cut and everyone arrives at the Kuoh Academy where the faction meeting would be held. At the meeting were Sirzechs as a representative of the demons and his companions are Mio's parents, Seraphol, the Gremory clan and the Sitri clan and Valerie's group and the Hyoudou and the Tauju and Mio's group. On the side of the fallen faction were Azazel and Penemu. Of the angels were Michael, Gabriel, Irina, Griselda Quarta and Chisato. Griselda was not involved in the betrayal. On the Nordic side were Odin and Roswis. On the side of the Yokai was Yusaka. On the side of the Egyptians was Anubis. On the side of the Greeks were Zeus and Poseidon. On the side of the Hindus was Indra. The first to break the silence was Zeus. Zeus. The face is wrong, seriously. The demons were surprised, they had not heard of the Knight Sparta in many years since he defeated Trihexa as if it were a child's game. At that moment the Sparta arrived with their guards guarding the entrance. Sparta. Hello Sirzechs, it's been a while, seriously. Sirzechs was pale in front of him was the Dark Knight Sparta and his wife Eva. The girls from the faction saw Vergil and Dante. But Vergil and Dante were not happy to see their ex-harem since they still had not forgotten what they did to them in the past. Sparta. Now let's start with this meeting, seriously. The meeting began with the explanation that the leader of the Chaos Brigade was Rizavam. Sirzechs. Sparta Sama, who are the boys who came with you? Curious. Sparta. These are my sons Vergil and Dante, seriously. The demons were pale the Dark Knight had children. The factions except those who know about the brothers were surprised. Vergil and Dante were standing up and both had a serious face. Vergil. You used to know us as Issei Hyoudou and Basara Taoju, seriously. The features upon knowing that the brothers were Issei and Basara were pale. Dante. And if you don't believe us, I met Mio a long time ago and at first I didn't like his company, over time I grew fond of him, and I had several battles against those who wanted to harm Mio and I met Chisato, and she is a goddess, with clear disgust. Vergil. My first girlfriend, Yuma, asked me out and I discovered she was a fallen angel and killed me. Then Rias reincarnated me as her pawn, and thanks to me she stopped being engaged to Razor Phoenix, and I fought against Cadre Gabriel after that, with clear disgust. The ex-harem girls of both were surprised, those boys were undoubtedly the ones who almost killed. Rias. Issei is you, with tears of happiness. Rias threw herself at Vergil, but he stepped aside causing Rias to fall to the ground. To give you an idea. Vergil. I'm sorry but my name is not Issei, my real name is Vergil Sparda, seriously. Mio tried to hug Dante, but he did the same as his twin. Sparda. I'm sorry for my children's behavior, but they don't want to be around traitors, seriously. Sirzechs. Then, fearfully. Eva. The boys who betrayed us were our children, seriously. Mickey. Lie, you're not Issei's mother, it's me, annoyed. Jackie. I am Basara's mother, annoyed. Eva. Seriously, don't tell me, we saw when you betrayed my children, preferring some pretty faces, huh, sarcastic. The two of them fell silent. Eva. I knew it, seriously. Vergil. I remember you Hyoudou replaced me and said I was just a useless pervert, annoyed. Dante. You also said that I'm a mistake and that I'm good for nothing, annoyed. Both were hurt because what they said was true. Sirzechs. But since they are his children and we didn't know about their lineage, serious. Sparda. Their memories and powers were sealed, so they didn't remember anything, and when you betrayed them, that seal broke, and that's how they discovered their lineage, seriously. The demons were sorry they betrayed some boys who were the sons of one of the most powerful beings. Pandora approached Vergil and kissed him on the lips. Athena kissed Dante as she saw that her beloved was not happy to see his ex-harem. Rias and Vergil's exes were filled with jealousy when they saw that scene. Mio and Dante's ex-harem were jealous of seeing that scene. Then the brothers stopped kissing their respective partners. Rias. Issei, why did you kiss that bitch, jealous? Vergil. I told you my name is not Issei, my name is Vergil Sparda and she is my fiancé as well as office, seriously. Rias. You were supposed to be my fiancé, annoyed. Vergil. You said I was just a toy for you and you got tired of me, annoyed. Rias couldn't say anything since what Vergil said was true, he did so much for them and they paid him back by betraying him. Mio. Basara because you kissed that bitch, jealous. Dante. She's my fiancé and don't call her that, annoyed. Mio. We were supposed to be together, jealous. Dante. You said you just used me and that I was pathetic. You said that when you betrayed me, annoyed. Mio just cried for that answer from Dante. Bekeno and Karumi. What do they have that we don't? Annoyed. Vergil and Dante. Brain, at the same time. Pandora. Unlike you Gremory, I was honest with him, not like you, seriously. Office. Besides, Valerie, you disappointed me, annoyed. After a discussion the meeting continued and everyone had to find a way to defeat the Chaos Brigade. Chapter 13. Unwanted Reunion, Part 2. Previously there was a meeting with the factions where our protagonists met with their former harem and they made it clear that they did not want to return with them. Vergil and Dante were not happy to see the girls who betrayed them when they were still Issei and Basara. Vergil was training with his brother with his sword in the palace, more specifically in one of the training rooms. But the factions. When they returned to the Gremory mansion, Vergil's ex-harem were devastated. They betrayed a kind-hearted boy. It was the same with Dante's ex-harem. But when Sirzechs and Venelana found out that Issei was the son of the Dark Knight Sparda, they were shocked. They heard that the Dark Knight defeated Sirzechs as if it were a child's play and humiliated the original Lucifer and the ancient mass. Sirzechs and his wife were frustrated as they lost a great boy to their daughter and not because he wanted to leave but because they threw him away like trash. The same thing happened with my parents. They threw away like garbage a boy who was a descendant of the Knight Sparda. Gremory Castle News. We see Ria's parents and Mio's parents and it was also Chisato they realized their mistake in betraying Vergil and Dante when they were still Issei and Basara. They were frustrated, great warriors left their side not by choice but because they discarded them like garbage. Sirzechs. What have we done? We discarded the sons of the Spartanite, frustrated. Musin. My daughter has been crying all because of us, seriously. Venelana. Thinking that Issei was useless and it turns out that he was the son of the Spartanite, frustrated. Sapphire. Our daughters just cry and cry, frustrated. But the brothers. They were still out of the kingdom as their parents were busy and their fiancés had gone shopping. Vergil and Dante were in the city of Kuoh, but both were aware of what could happen. Vergil went to an arcade and so did his brother. Vergil. Wow, it's been a while since I've been to this arcade, smiling. Dante. Good times before we were thrown away like garbage, seriously. Vergil. Now a race, the last one to arrive at the mall, pays for the hamburgers, runs away. Dante. That's cheating, runs away. They couldn't use their powers in public because that would reveal that they are demons, and that wouldn't be good. After a while, Vergil arrived first at the mall. Dante. Great, I have to pay for the burgers, with a depressive cloud. Vergil. I won, he pays for the burgers, sarcastic. After that the two went to the food court to eat hamburgers. Dante. How great are some hamburgers, and I remember that we watched a lot of hamburger programs and SpongeBob, MasterChef, Good Burger, he is interrupted. Vergil. I know, I understand the concept, seriously. After eating, they both went to the cinema to see Spider-Man. No Way Home. After the movie ended, both brothers left the cinema and with popcorn. Vergil. I'm surprised that the previous Spider-Man appeared, and it was funny when Ned says Peter and the three get confused, laughing. Dante. Aunt May's death was sad, but she said the phrase that Uncle Ben was supposed to say, smiling. Vergil. Now let's go to the park, smiling. So the two of them walked to the park. They passed through the park, but Vergil was reminded of when Rainer tried to kill him. But at that moment someone appeared to Dante's annoyance. It was nothing more and nothing less than a Chisato. Dante. Wow, she is a cheap goddess, clearly annoyed. Chisato. Basara is you, with tears of happiness. Dante. My name is Dante, no Basara, that was my old self, seriously. Chisato wanted to hug Dante, but the albino stepped aside, causing Chisato to fall to the ground. Chisato. Why did you do that? Seriously. Dante. You said I was just a good-for-nothing and a perverted piece of trash when you betrayed me, seriously. Chisato had no words since what Dante said was true. She told him those words when she betrayed him. Chisato tried to control Dante, but was greatly surprised to see that he didn't even tickle him. Dante. That doesn't work for me anymore, seriously. Then both brothers were going to leave, but someone else appeared to their annoyance, it was the ex-harem of both. Rias. Issei, happy. Leo. My Basara, happy. Both brothers. The Chanful takes me. Halloween special. This is before the Unwanted reunion. We are in the streets of the Kingdom of Astoria, where you can see the streets decorated with things from the Halloween holiday. The children were asking for candy, and many were walking around having fun. We are in the Sparda castle where Vergil and Dante are seen. Vergil had made the dimensional cut and was with Pandora in office, and Dante and Trish were also there. The reason for the dimensional cut is that they are going to travel to other dimensions. They entered the portal to travel to other worlds. Then they drove a van that Vergil had summoned. Vergil. I designed this truck, it has infinite fuel and unlimited resistance, meaning it can withstand an explosion. Nothing can destroy it, since I used magic to make it indestructible, smiling. Everyone gets in the van and drives until they reach a city called Raccoon City. Those who played Resident Evil should already know what I'm talking about. The city was in a mess as it was destroyed in heaps. Vergil. It's because of the Umbrella Corporation that the city ended in chaos, but I don't know if it's the corporation or the viruses, I don't remember, seriously. Everyone carefully gets out of the truck and sees that the streets were full of blood or human remains. Dante. What a horror. There were monsters or zombies or something like that, disgusted. They entered a shelter but heard something on the roof. Vergil shines a flashlight on the ceiling, but there is a hideous creature. The creature lunges at the brothers, but Vergil shoots it with his gun, but shoots it again and kills it. Vergil. How disgusting, disgusted. Dante. Let's get out of here, disgusted. They left the place, but a humanoid creature wearing a trench coat and carrying a bazooka appeared. Pandora. I'll take care of this clown, seriously. Pandora was in a fighting stance. The creature launched itself at Pandora, but the purple-haired girl knew what to do. Pandora launches an attack that crashes him against the wall. Then the creature shoots a missile at her, but Pandora catches it as if it were a toy. The missile returns to the creature causing an explosion. Pandora. Let's get out of here, seriously. Everyone gets into the truck, but there were zombie dogs. Vergil accelerated to run over the dog. Afterwards they left the area, but the creature that Pandora fought with was chasing them in a black car. Vergil. Ah great, this guy gives me a headache, annoyed. There was a chase where the guy was shooting at them with a machine gun. But the bullets didn't do anything to the truck. Vergil. Take care of him, seriously. Dante climbs onto the roof of the truck. Dante had a machine gun on the roof of the truck. Dante. Bullet eater, disgusting creature, annoyed. Dante started shooting, but the sounds of gunfire attract zombies. But Dante shoots one of the creature's tires, causing it to lose control and crash into a light pole. That's how the crash is. The zombies attack the truck, but Dante killed the zombies. Vergil. Now let's get out of here, seriously. So Vergil activates a portal where the van passes. So everyone returns to the kingdom of Astoria. This is the end of the special and happy Halloween. Chapter 14 Confrontation. Previously Vergil and Dante had had a great afternoon, but as the saying goes, the calm before the storm, and Dante met up with his ex Hyoudou, and he obviously didn't want to go back with her, and they were both going to leave, but to the great annoyance of both their ex Harem appeared, and they shouted. Both brothers. The chantful takes me. Returning to the present. Rias and Mio were happy to see their beloved, as well as Vergil's ex-harem and Dante's ex-harem. Vergil. Ah, what do you want? With an annoyed face. Rias. Issei, come with me, smiling. Mio. Basara, come with me, smiling. Maria. Basara, I miss you so much, sad. Irina. Come my Issei, with open arms. Vergil. What else is going to happen if Valerie and his group arrive, sarcastic. Then Valerie and his team appeared, but the albino looked at Vergil with lust. Lefay did not participate in the betrayal. Vergil. Me and my big mouth, annoyed. Lefay approached Vergil. This is Lefay's appearance. Vergil was in stone, he was Lefay when he was still Issei, Lefay did not betray him since she was not involved. Vergil. Lefay, you participated in my betrayal, serious and curious. Lefay. No, because I would never betray you, seriously. Vergil saw that Lefay wasn't lying. Vergil. Well Lefay, since you didn't betray me, I forgive you, smiling. Rias. Why don't you forgive us? She does, with a clear tone of jealousy and annoyance. Vergil. What asshole, you have no right to say that Lefay did not betray me like you do, she is someone who deserves to be forgiven, you don't, annoyed. But then Vergil's arm turns into a glove with a red gem. It was Zero the Dark Dragon. Zero. Wow, what do we have here if it's Scarlet, the bitch who betrayed my partner, sarcastic. Rias. Scarlet, who is he, looking at Vergil's glove. Scarlet. It's Zero the Dark Dragon, but what are you doing with my partner and love? Annoyed. Zero. Your boot-licking dragon companion, unlike you I was always with Vergil, not like your trailer dragon, annoyed. Scarlet. And I regret having betrayed him, annoyed. Hunting season open, who's in? Zero. Wants to cry, sarcastic. Hibba. Issei comes back, I want my friend back, seriously with his sword. Issei. Then you are more stupid than I assumed, serious. Kurumi. Basara, I miss you, please come back to us, with tears. Dante. We are not drowning, series. Valerie. Issei, I know I abandoned you, but please come with me so we can be together, with tears. Vergil. In what language do I have to tell you that I will not return with you, disgusted. Rias. I'm your fiancé, seriously. Vergil. Ah, you're my fiancé. I remember you said I was just a toy and you used me for your benefit, annoyed. Rias. But you must be with me, taking advantage of the fact that I will take your virginity, with a seductive tone. Vergil. First, how disgusting, and second, I already lost my virginity, seriously. Rias changed her face to one of annoyance. Rias. You were supposed to lose your virginity with me, annoyed. Vergil. How horrible, it makes me nauseous, disgusted. Arthur, Saji, Momo and Raruko approached the duo. Saji. Friend, I was not involved in your betrayal. I tried to warn them about the betrayal, but they had threatened me. Momo and Raruko are my partners and they were not involved either, and Arthur was not involved either, seriously. Vergil saw that Saji was telling the truth. Vergil. Saji, I don't hold a grudge against you since you and Arthur are the few who didn't betray me, just like your loved ones. I forgive you, but let's get out of here, seriously. Vergil would make the dimensional cut. They were about to enter, but 2 attacks prevented it. Rias. You won't leave here, Issei, with jealousy. Leo. You won't leave my side, Basara, serious. Vergil. Damn, miss, disgusted. Vergil, fed up, makes his attack. Taking advantage of the distraction, Vergil along with his brother, Arthur, Saji, Momo and Raruko leave, but Dante removes the demonic pieces since he knew how to remove them without dying. The portal closed and everyone saw that they escaped. Sona. They escaped, seriously. But to Sona's horror there were pieces of Saji, Raruko and Momo that meant that they were no longer pieces of Sona. In Astoria. The group had arrived at the Sparda castle where the brothers' partners and parents were. Seeing Saji and the others they decided to ask. Vergil. Let them talk, seriously. Saji and Arthur explained that they were not involved in the betrayal but tried to warn them but were threatened. Vergil talked to his partners about Lefay and they accepted that he could be with Vergil, but Vergil told them that they will go on a date to hang out. Arthur and Saji were made members of the Sparda clan. Saji's new look. Momo and Raruko liked Saji's new appearance and they spent time with him. Arthur received another sword. Arthur's new sword. Arthur had to train with the brothers to become stronger. But when training, Arthur's arm changed into a demon's arm. Arthur's appearance. Saji was not far behind and trained too. Lefay became Vergil's third fiancé. Arthur told Vergil that if Lefay gets pregnant he would be responsible. Vergil accepted since he was not going to abandon his loved ones. Chapter 15. A day at the beach. After the brothers' confrontation with their former harem, they escaped to the kingdom. Saji and Arthur were members of the Sparda clan and trained with Vergil and Dante. Arthur no longer needed glasses thanks to being from the Sparda clan, and he trained with his new sword that was a rival to Yamato and the rebellion. Arthur received firearms with infinite ammunition. At the Magic Institute the students are talking. Natsu and Gray had moved up a class and were now upper class, while Shido and Rito moved up to middle class. Natsu. I'm glad we moved up a class, smiling. Gray. Whatever, seriously. Meliodas and Ichika rose to supreme class since they earned it, but it was not easy. What happened to the girls? Bakame and Yaoi Rozu rose to supreme class, and Lucy and Sheila rose to upper class. Bakame. I liked going up a class, smiling. Yaoi Rozu. Me too, smiling. That was happening at the Astoria Magic Institute. Castillo Sparda. We see the others training in the castle's training room. Lefay was given a new magic wand that was more like a scepter. The scepter of Lefay. Lefay was quite happy being with Vergil, and she also gave Vergil a kiss. Vergil already had 3 fiancés who are Pandora, Office and now Lefay. Dante only had 2, Athena and Trish, but what he didn't know was that he had another fiancé. Now we are with Arthur where he changed his clothing style. Arthur was training until he runs into Scathach. The purple-haired girl, upon seeing Arthur, couldn't help but blush since she had feelings for him ever since his arrival. Arthur had feelings for Scathach and couldn't deny it, she's beautiful. Arthur. What brings you here, Scathach, curious. Scathach. Arthur, can I ask you something? Blushing. Arthur. Tell me, smiling. Scathach. I want a date with you, blushing. Arthur was as red as a tomato. Scathach was asking him out. Arthur. Okay, and when, smiling. Scathach. How's tomorrow? Smiling. Arthur. It's okay, smiling. So they both said goodbye with a hug, but Arthur was red. After that Arthur goes with his sister Lefay. We see Vergil training with his brother Dante and Saji. Vergil. Saji, do you want to be stronger? Smiling. Saji. Yes, I want to be stronger, smiling. Dante. Well said, smiling. This is how Vergil, Dante and Saji would train, since all 3 of them became stronger. Saji trained like crazy since he was weaker than Vergil and Dante and wanted to protect Momo and Raruko. After finding out, Saji went on a date with Momo and Raruko since Vergil recommended Saji some good places for couples. It was another day in the kingdom and we see Vergil helping Arthur for his date. Vergil. Arthur, if you want everything to go well, remember that if you get nervous, inhale and exhale and think about something else, smiling. Arthur. Thanks for your advice, smiling. Vergil. Now go to your appointment, smiling. Arthur went to his date with Scathach. Vergil looked at his brother-in-law with a smile and for the first time found love. Vergil went on a date with Lefay as they both wanted to spend time together. But we see Saji running since Momo and Raruko are chasing him. The simple reason is that Saji helped Akame and she kissed him on the cheek and Momo and Raruko didn't take it very well. Saji was running in a comical way until he fell off a cliff. Something like that. Saji was saved from the beating but hit the ground. The next day. We see everyone in the Sparda palace. It turns out that Vergil and Dante planned a day at the beach. Vergil was wearing dark shorts. Dante was just like his brother. Ignore the gift. But Arthur arrived, just like Vergil and Dante. Arthur. Saji was the same as the brothers, but he had muscles. Serving. But the girls arrived and the boys were red-faced seeing their respective partners. Pandora. The office. Lefay. Athena. I didn't find any of Trish. Type. Baruko. Shadow. The boys went to the beach in the kingdom of Astoria. When they arrived at the beach they put a grill to cook the food. The boys put sunscreen on their partners and they put sunscreen on themselves so they wouldn't get burned. Vergil. Brother, Saji and Arthur want to go surfing, smiling. The 4 of them went to the sea with their surfboards to surf. The 4 of them were in the sea sitting on their surfboards. Until the waves come and they start surfing. This is how the boys surfed. With the girls. They sunbathed on beach chairs with sunglasses to avoid getting sunburned. Pandora. They do a lot for us, smiling. Athena. Dante is a gentleman, he's also good in bed, smiling. Pandora. So is Vergil, smiling. The office. Those swine discarded good men. They did a lot for them, and they paid them back with betrayal, and by exchanging them for boys who are members of the Chaos Brigade, disgusted. Lefay. My brother and I are not involved, but we couldn't warn them since we couldn't beat the leaders, seriously. Momo. Saji tried to warn them, but Sona had that peace punishment thing going on, and had us threatened, seriously. Baruko. Sona threatened to kill us if we said anything, seriously. Trish. If I see that menstruation bitch, I'll smash her to bits, annoyed. Scathach. Arthur wasn't involved and was threatened by that albino bitch, annoying. Pandora. But let's forget about that and enjoy this fun day, smiling. But the boys. Vergil. Look at this, making a movement. More or less like this. Dante did the same and succeeded, and Saji and Arthur tried to do it but fell into the sea. Arthur. It wasn't easy to do, grabbing his surfboard. So they would spend the day having fun on the beach and enjoying the grilled meat they had cooked. Chapter 16 Awkward moment. The Sparda brothers had a great day at the beach with their fiancés and their friends. They also had a good time from that day on. Arthur and Scathach became boyfriend and girlfriend. It was to be expected. The sword expert received the same training as Vergil and Dante and achieved the devil trigger. Arthur's devil trigger. Vergil spent time with his fiancés and Dante did the same. But the factions. Rias and the others were with two emotions, sadness and anger. Sadness of how he discarded Vergil before Issei like garbage and that he is not by his side. Anger at Vergil's fiancés, especially Pandora for how she took Vergil's virginity when she was supposed to take Vergil's virginity. Rias and Vergil's ex-harem missed Vergil before Issei, but were jealous and angry at Vergil's fiancés. Mio was the same as Rias, she missed Dante before Basara, but she was angry and jealous of Dante's fiancés, especially Athena. Vergil's ex-harem and Dante's ex-harem were angry, they wanted to be with them. Astoria Kingdom. We see Vergil's fiancés talking. Pandora. Seriously, those bitches went too far. First, they said Vergil was just a toy and now they want him back, disgusted. Office. If I see that Rias, I'll tear her to pieces, snapping her hands. Lefay. I wasn't involved in the betrayal. I told Valerie that she made a mistake by dumping him, but she only had Hex with Ken, and from there my brother and I left her group, annoyed. Pandora. I just want to make our fiancé happy, he deserves the happiness that period hairs, seriously. In a parking lot. We see a car parked in which Arthur and Saji were going to park in a shopping center, and they stop for a moment. Arthur. I'd like to buy a gift for Scathach, smiling. Saji. I also want to buy a gift for Momo and Haruko, smiling. But at that moment a voice is heard. Voice. Come on Hansel, move, car honking. Arthur looks out the window. Arthur. Hey uneducated, I am an oh sorry lady, I am sorry, sadly. The lady gets out of her car. Arthur. His voice is so masculine and ugly, I thought he was a man. I mean, you should call him sir when he talks on the phone. He must be very behind me, right? Sadly. Saji just nods. Arthur was about to raise the window and heard a knock. Apo. Arthur. Don't talk Saji, with a purple eye. Chapter 17. Some surprises. Arthur has a stake in his black eye because he called a woman who had a man's voice uneducated. Saji had bought dresses for Momo and Haruko since they are engaged since Vergil, and Dante made them a special engagement party. Present. We are in Sparda Castle where Vergil and Arthur were training and Dante was eating with his fiancés. Pandora, office and Lefay had gone shopping since it was a girl thing and obviously Vergil wouldn't mind getting into something that doesn't concern him. But the parents appeared, but Spards had a serious face. Vergil. Father who happens, curious. Sparda. Dante, getting Dante's attention. Dante. What's up, Dad? Curious. Sparda. You have another fiancé, seriously. Athena and Trish made a sour face when they heard that. Sparda. Do you remember lady? She is engaged to you, seriously. At that moment a woman appears who was no older than 22 with a white shirt and black pants. If you played Devil May Cry you should already know who he is. Lady hugged Dante from behind, something that bothered Athena and Trish. Vergil and Arthur don't get involved because they wouldn't get into that fight for a reason. They left so as not to see Dante suffering. Vergil had gone with Arthur to train elsewhere. Vergil. Friend, how are you doing with Scathach? Curious. Arthur. Well, since we've had a few dates, smiling. Vergil. Lefay is very pretty and I will do my best to make her happy, smiling. Arthur. I would like her to be my fiancé, but everything in its own time, serious. Vergil. Good thinking, friend, smiling. So Vergil went to his room as it got dark. We see Vergil in his bed but two people would enter. Office and Leffe. Office. Vergil, I want you to make us yours, with lust. Leffe. I've been waiting for this moment for a long time, lusting. The two of them launched themselves into kissing Vergil with lust. Lemon skipped. The brothers use privacy seals so that what they do cannot be seen or heard. The next day. We are at the Kingdom Hospital since a few weeks ago Pandora and Athena had symptoms. Some tests were done and when the results came back. Doctor. Congratulations, you are both pregnant, smiling. Both Pandora and Athena were surprised they were surprised. Pandora. I'm going to be a mother, crying. Doctor. Apparently yes, smiling. So they both went home to tell their fiancés. When they arrived, Vergil and Dante were training with Saji and Arthur, but Pandora and Athena arrived. Pandora. Vergil, getting Vergil's attention. Athena. Dante, getting Dante's attention. Vergil. Pandora, what's happening, curious. Dante. What's up, Athena, curious. Pandora and Athena. We are pregnant, they caressed their bellies. Vergil and Dante were surprised their fiancés were pregnant, so shocked were they that they fainted. Both. I don't know how they will react, saddened. 15 minutes later. Both wake up. Vergil. How strange, I had a dream where Pandora said she was pregnant, stunned. Dante. Maybe I just dreamed that Athena told me she was pregnant, stunned. Pandora. Vergil, wasn't a dream, seriously. Athena. It wasn't Dante, seriously. Vergil. So Athena, we're going to be parents, surprised. Pandora. If you're going to abandon me, tears come out. Vergil. No, sweetheart, I won't abandon you, I'll take responsibility, smiling. Dante. The same goes for you, Athena, I will not abandon you, I will take responsibility, smiling. Now Vergil and Dante would be fathers since their fiancés were pregnant. Chapter 18 Unpleasant Encounters. Previously Vergil and Dante were surprised that their fiancés Pandora and Athena were pregnant, but they would be responsible for their future sons or daughters, or it could be both. Vergil and Dante are going to be better parents than the Hyoudou and the Hyoudou. Vergil and Dante would not make the same mistakes as the Hyoudou. And the Hyoudou, since they are not going to be like the families that betrayed them when they were still Issei and Basara. Several things have happened since the news broke. Vergil and Dante's parents were surprised by the news that they were going to be grandparents, and they took it well. Arthur, with the help of Saji and the brothers, managed to be engaged to Scathach, and they both became engaged. Saji trained hard since he found out that Momo and Raruka were pregnant and he was going to be a father and he wouldn't neglect his fiancés. Present. We are in the city of Kuoh where the Sparda brothers are since from time to time they go to the city, but they suppress their power so as not to be detected. They had futuristic motorcycles designed by themselves. Vergil's motorcycle. Dante's motorcycle. They liked motorcycles because they always wanted to ride motorcycles but couldn't when they were still Issei and Basara. They go down to a restaurant to eat. After getting off they go to the park to hang out. The two sit on some benches to pass the time. But his fun was interrupted by a voice. Voice. Issei Basara. They both turned around and it was Hyoudou Kiba. Kiba. The president wants to see them, seriously. Vergil. What part of us not being Issei and Basara didn't you understand, with clear annoyance in his voice. Kiba. I want my friend back, seriously. Vergil gets up and was clearly angry because that prince, as he usually calls him, told him his friend, he remembers that he stabbed him in the back when he was betrayed. Vergil. Friend, you hadn't said you were never my friend, annoyed. Kiba. I made a mistake, seriously. Vergil. I offered you my friendship and you spit in my face, kicks him in the groin. Kiba fell to the ground clutching his privates. Vergil. Despite what you did for them, they hated you in the end, annoyed. Both brothers left Kiba on the ground. Vergil. Don't do anything stupid, seriously. Vergil leaves for his motorcycle. Dante. It wasn't an impulse of idiocy, nervous. Dante got on his motorcycle and they both left. When Kiba's pain subsided, he went to reason with the brothers, but they left the place. Vergil and Dante continued touring the city but were stopped by two black limousines. In one were the Hyoudou and the other were the Hyoudou. Both. The Chanful takes me. Boru. Issei returns home, sad. Jim. Basara, please come back, sad. Nikki. Issei, my baby, please come back, sad. Jackie. Basara is coming back to us, sad. Vergil. My name is not Issei, annoyed. Dante. I'm not Basara, that was my old self, annoyed. Nikki. Issei, the girls miss you and so do we, sad. Jackie. Basara Mio misses you and the others especially Chisato, sad. The brothers used their motorcycles and went in the opposite direction. Hyoudou and Hyoudou. After them. The limos follow them, but what they didn't know was that the brothers had tricks up their sleeves. It was a chase where the big cars were hot on the heels of the motorcycles, but they had planned everything. Vergil activates a flight mode just like Dante, so the motorcycles shoot out rockets and begin to fly away from the limousines, thus escaping from the Hyoudou and the Taoju. The Hyoudou and the Taoju were frustrated Vergil and Dante had escaped, but they were not going to give up, and they warned the girls. The girls were happy that Vergil and Dante were in town, but they would do everything possible to get them back with them. But Vergil and Dante. They were resting in a field since they were resting their motorcycles since they had no energy. But unfortunately, some magic circles appear where certain unwanted people come out. Rias. Issei, happy. Issei. Basara, happy. Vergil. Now what do you want with some annoyance? Rias. Issei is my cute pawn and fiancé again, with a seductive voice. Issei. Basara please come back and be my fiancé, with a seductive tone. Rias. If you come back with me you can do whatever you want with my body, with a seductive tone. Issei. This time you can do whatever you want with my body, with a seductive tone. Akeno. Rias I'll do that with Issei, annoyed. Chisato. Basara, come and drink my breast milk, showing her breasts. Dante was clearly displeased with that as they believed it was still Basara. Scarlet. Issei I want to be your partner again I miss you, sad. Valerie. Little dragon, I miss you, please come back to me, sad. Vergil. What disgusting people you are, do you think we're idiots? Annoyed. Dante. We already said 200 times that I'm not a Basara, that was just a shell, my old self, annoyed. Rias and Mio didn't like that behavior of theirs. Rias. If that's the way things are, we'll challenge them to a rating game. If they win, we'll leave them alone. But if we win, you'll come back to us and leave those bitches, seriously. Vergil. First, we accept the challenge, but don't insult our fiancés again. And third, the rating game will be in 10 days, like when we fought with Razor, seriously. Rias. Done, but I'll prepare our wedding when we win, with a seductive tone. Kaneko. We will have many kittens, naughty. Hiroka. Did you hear we'll have strong kittens? Flirty. Kurumi. Basara, we will have many children, mischievous. Maria. What she said, naughty. So everyone leaves there. Vergil and Dante return to the kingdom of Astoria and told what they are going to do. Chapter 19 Rating Game. Previously the brothers had a reunion with some unwanted people and challenged them to a rating game where if the brothers won, they would not bother them again, of course, since in every story they do not learn. They would finally teach those who betrayed them a lesson they would never forget as they had planned everything. Present. Sparda Castle Meeting Room. Sparda and his wife knew that their children's ex-harem girls challenged them to a rating game, but the group would be made up of Vergil and Dante. Andor and Athena couldn't fight because of the pregnancy, so Office and Lefe and Trish and Lady could fight. Arthur and Scathach got involved as well as Akame, but with the passage of time Akame and Arthur became a couple. They had to talk to Scathach and she accepted Akame as Arthur's second fiancé. Saji is going to fight them since he wants to kick the traitors' asses. Momo and Raruko are also going to fight since they had everything planned. The rating game team would be Vergil, Dante, Office, Lefe, Trish, Lady, Arthur, Scathach, Akame, Saji, Momo and Raruko, and also Ichika and Meliodas. They would fight against Rias and her entourage, Razor and his entourage, Sona and her entourage, Valerie's team, Gabriel, Irina, Auden, Thor, Yasaka and finally Baraquiel and Rainer, who survived since the one who died was a clone. Vergil and Dante were training in Devil Trigger. They trained hard to become stronger with a weak trigger to make it clear that they don't want to return. But the factions. Rias and Mio's parents found out about their plan regarding the rating game, but they were happy because if they won Vergil and Dante would come back with them and they could have strong grandchildren. Ahahaha how naive someone understood. The girls trained like crazy because they wanted to beat them so they could return to their beloved ones. Kingdom of Astoria. The brothers finished training so that they would not be bothered again. Arthur also trained and so did Saji to become stronger. As the days go by, but now we are in hot springs where the boys were in a hot spring bath. The girls were in other hot springs next to the boys. Vergil. These hot springs are incredible, smiling. Arthur. I hope everything is okay, seriously. Saji. I want to smash the Kiba to bits now, seriously. Vergil. We'll do it together, friend, I want to kick the prince's ass, seriously. Dante. Hahaha how funny that son of a bitch is, referring to Kiba. Vergil. Don't buck with that bastard, making fun of Kiba. Dante. What about Gasper's bleached blonde, mocking. Vergil. Well done, dude, laughing. Saji. And what happened to the traitor girls, curious. Dante. They tried to seduce us, but they failed, disgusted. Saji. Bucking disgusting, disgusted. Arthur. I'll give that Biku a beating that fool will never forget, smiling. Saji. I want to hit him now, seriously. After the bath I would rest for the remainder of the 10 days for the rating game. Aim rating day. We are in the underworld where the rating game would take place. Hachi and Sparda vs Alianza. On the part of the Alliance, the fighters are like this. On the part of the demons there are the Gremory clan, the Sitri clan, Serafal, Valerie's team, Mio's group and also Sirzechs, since he is also going to participate in Razor and his entourage. On the side of the fallen are Rainer and Baraquiel and finally Penemu. On behalf of the angels Gabriel, Griselda and Irina and Chisato. As I said, Griselda was not involved in the betrayal. You want her to be with Vergil. Say it in the comments. On the Nordic side there were Odin and Roswis and Thor. On the part of the Yokai there was Yusaka and Biku. Now the Sparda faction was Vergil, Dante, Office, Lefe, Trish, Lady, Arthur, Scathach, Akame, Saji, Momo, Haruko, Meliodas and Ichika. Everyone was seeing each other, but Vergil and Dante's exes looked with hatred at Vergil and Dante's fiancés. But the traitors saw Arthur and Saji differently. Arthur. Serve. Andor and Athena were with the Sparta patriarchs because she couldn't fight due to her pregnancy. The Hyoudou and the Taoju and the Gremory were like spectators. Grayfia. Before starting, it is forbidden to kill, seriously. Everyone understood what Sirzech's queen said since killing was forbidden. Grayfia. Now let the fight begin, seriously. The rating game would start where at that moment. Vergil, balance breaker. And that Vergil uses his black dragon armor with red gems. Dante, balance breaker. Dante's armor was purple with fuchsia gems. Both were ready to fight against the Alliance, but they knew they shouldn't kill. That's where Rias and Mio approach with their groups. Rias. Issei, just give up so you can be my fiancé, with a seductive voice. Mio. Basara, give up so we can be together, seriously. Vergil. I don't know what language to use to tell you that I'm not Issei, annoyed. Kiba. Just surrender to get my friend back, seriously. Vergil. Look, the pretty boy wants to cry. But at that moment Kiba summoned what looked like armor. Be careful, this is not the armor of the Knights of the Zodiac. Vergil. What a cheap copy of Knights of the Zodiac, mocking. Kiba. I trained to get my friend back, seriously. Vergil. I offered you my friendship and you spit in my face, hits him on the head. Kiba was sent flying. Asper tried to freeze him but it didn't do anything. Vergil. Now sweet dreams, fifth-rate coward, annoyed. Vergil launches an attack that eliminates Gasper from the rating game. Grayfia. Gasper can't continue, serious. Asper had lost the rating game, but there were still members of the Alliance left. Mio. Basara, give up, I don't want to fight with you, seriously. Dante. Damn, the crazy girl likes me, seriously. Dante dodged an attack courtesy of Kurumi. Kurumi. I won't let you go, seriously. With Arthur. Arthur and Lefe were serious, but Valerie and his group arrived. Valerie. Yes, they are the traitors, seriously. Arthur. You are mistaken in betraying Vergil, seriously. Kuroka. We made a mistake, serious. Lefe. Nice try, old lady, mockingly. Kuroka. As you told me, annoyed. Lefe. As you heard, old woman, mockingly. Kuroka got angry at that insult and fought against Lefe. Arthur launched an attack that hit Biku. Arthur. You're not hurt, are you, scaredy cat? Mockingly. Biku launched into an attack on Arthur for the insult. With Office. Office was humiliating Rainer. Rainer. Because you took him away from me, annoyed. Office. This is for killing Vergil to join him with the menstrual hair entourage, annoyed. Office launched an attack that left the fallen angel wounded, leaving her badly injured. He then launches an attack that eliminates her from the rating game. Grayfia. Rainer was eliminated, seriously. With Lefe. Lefe dodged all of Kuroka's attacks as if it were child's play. Lefe. That's what you get for being a bitch, mockingly. After that, Kuroka, angry, launches an attack, causing an explosion. Kuroka. Ha 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 ha, Issei will be mine, confident. But when the smoke cleared, Lefe was unscathed. Lefe. Now you're going to pay for it, fifth-rate cat, seriously. Lefe launched an attack at Kuroka, thus eliminating her. Grayfia. Kuroka was eliminated, seriously. With Dante. Dante was fighting against Maria. Maria. Please Basara give up, seriously. Dante. Damn, miss, seriously. Dante made an attack that eliminated Maria from the rating game. Grayfia. Maria was eliminated, seriously. With Vergil. Vergil was fighting Thor, but Vergil formed a sword with his armor. Vergil. Now, cheap god, you'll eat dust, seriously. Vergil made many attacks at once. Vergil. I'll take your hammer, thank you, takes the hammer. So Vergil's sword merges with the hammer, so it has another form. Vergil's new sword. Vergil. Thanks for the hammer, silly. I prefer Thor from the Marvel movies. He's cool, not like your cheap copy. Seriously. Vergil eliminated Thor with his new sword. Grayfia. Thor was eliminated, seriously. Saji. Saji was fighting against Sona and her entourage. Sona. Why did you leave my entouragement, annoyed. Saji. I couldn't stand you anymore and it's your fault that Momo, Raruko and I suffered from that punishment of pieces, annoyed. Before Saji attacked, Momo intervened. Momo. Leave this pig to me, seriously. Raruko. Better said to us, seriously. Saji nods and flies away. Greyhound. Sirzechs was fighting Lavinia. Lavinia. You will pay to take my Issei away from me, annoyed. Sirzechs. You're wrong, I'm not with Issei, I'm with Arthur, and you'll pay for hurting our friend, annoyed. Arthur appeared. Arthur. Sirzechs is not with Vergil, she is my fiancé, but you will pay for hurting my friend and brother-in-law, annoyed. Both of them launched themselves against Lavinia and made an attack, thus eliminating Lavinia. Grayfia. Lavinia was eliminated, seriously. With Vergil. Vergil was fighting Akeno, but the albino had the advantage. Vergil. Look at the cow's breasts, mockingly. Akeno. Ara that little mouth is bad, I'll give you a punishment, licking her lips. Vergil. Oh man, the crazy girl likes me, seriously. Akeno throws lightning at Vergil, but he dodges the attacks and begins to charge an attack. Vergil launched an attack that eliminated Akeno. Grayfia. Akeno was eliminated, seriously. Vergil dodged a punch from Kaneko. Kaneko. When I win, we'll have kittens, seriously. Vergil simply slashed her with his evolved sword, thus eliminating Kaneko. Grayfia. Kaneko was eliminated, seriously. Dante was dodging Kurumi's attacks, but he, fed up, eliminated her. Grayfia, Kurumi eliminated Syria. Arthur had knocked out Biku with his new powers. Grayfia. Biku eliminated, would be. Then we see Dante in front of the god Odin who began to fight against him. Dante had taken wings from the armor. Dante. Now go to sleep, you old codger, seriously. Dante launched a fire attack in the form of a dragon, thus eliminating Odin. Grayfia. Odin eliminated, it would be. We are with Trish who was fighting Chisato. Chisato. Because of you I lost the love of my life, annoyed. Trish. You will pay for hurting my beloved Dante, annoyed. Trish started a tough fight against Chisato. Returning with Vergil. This one was fighting against Roswis in Asia, he had something planned against them. Vergil. How weak, seriously. Vergil made many attacks like this, eliminating Roswis and Razor. Grayfia. Roswis and Asia were eliminated, seriously. Vergil was serious, but dodged a spear of light that was thrown by Baraquiel. Baraquiel. When we win, you'll be my daughter's fiancé, seriously. Vergil. Now I have to take care of this bird, seriously. Vergil creates several clones. Baraquiel. What trick do I know which one is the real one? Seriously. Baraquiel attacked Vergil, but it turns out he was a clone, but the other clones attacked him. Vergil. Now goodbye, old man, seriously. And that Vergil attacked Baraquiel until he eliminated him. Grayfia. Baraquiel eliminated, serious. Saji. Momo and Raruko massacred Sona and her entourage and eliminated them with their best attacks. Grayfia. Sona and her entourage were eliminated, serious. Vergil was fighting Irina and he was angry to see his ex-beloved. Irina. What happened to the promise to get married, seriously? Vergil. You destroyed it yourself when you betrayed me, annoyed. Irina. It was just a mistake, seriously. Vergil. Coincidence I don't believe it, annoyed. Vergil easily eliminates Irina with a super attack. Grayfia. Irina, eliminated. Serious. Enemu and Gabriel were fighting against Office. Enemu. You're going to pay to take my man away from me, annoyed. Gabriel. You're going to pay dearly, you cheap dragon, annoyed. Office. Now get out of my sight, seriously. Office launched an attack that eliminated Penemu and Gabriel. Grayfia. Penemu and Gabriel eliminated, serious. The Angels and Fallen Angels faction have already lost the raiding game. Yasaka was in her fox form, but Arthur had everything planned. Arthur created an illusion where Yasaka suffered from her worst fears and is eliminated by Sirzechs. Grayfia, Yasaka eliminated serious. Meliodas was in his assault mode. Meliodas and Ichika were fighting against Seraphil. Seraphil. Humans won't beat me, annoyed. Ichika. We are not bad humans, mocking. Meliodas. Less talk, more action, serious. So both launched themselves against Seraphil where Meliodas used his sword and Ichika her technology and both defeated Seraphil. Ichika. Sweet dreams immature girl, mocking. Ichika takes out some mechanical arms and crushes Seraphil, thus eliminating her. Grayfia, Seraphil eliminated Syria. Now there were only a few left of the alliance that were Rias, Sirzechs, Scarlet and Valerie and Razor and his entourage and mine, since their friends were defeated. Razor went to attack Vergil from behind, but Meliodas stopped him. Meliodas, attack por la espalda esta cobards me encargar de ti Sirio. Ichika along with Akame would be in charge of the razor pieces. Scathach and Arthur remained as spectators. Vergil. I'll take care of the Lefay brothers, you take care of Scarlet and Office, you take care of Valerie, seriously. Dante. I'll take care of myself, seriously. Trish and Lady were spectators along with Arthur and Scathach and Saji and their fiancés. Vergil launched himself into battle against Rias and Sirzechs. Office would take care of Valerie and Lefay would take care of Scarlet. Sirzechs. Just come back to the alliance and be Rias' fiancé again, seriously. I would like to hit him and you leave your answer in the comments. Rias. Please Issei come back with me, I know I was wrong, but come back to be my cute pawn, seriously. Vergil. Now they will pay dearly for betraying me, seriously. Vergil removed the armor and used his devil trigger. Dante did the same as his brother and used his devil trigger. Vergil was fighting against Sirzechs and he launched many attacks of destruction, but Vergil dodged them as if it were a child's game. Vergil. I've been training and you were signing papers like Naruto uses clones, he does it to finish the paperwork, seriously. Sirzechs continued attacking Vergil, but Vergil grabbed him by the shirt. Vergil. Look me in the eyes, seriously. And that Sirzechs looks at Vergil's eyes and he was really scared in those eyes he saw his worst nightmare. Sirzechs faints and Vergil eliminates him with his sword. Grayfia. Sirzechs lost, seriously. Rias launched herself to attack Vergil, but he grabbed her by the neck. Vergil. You stabbed me in the back, you didn't tell me you were planning to betray me, and you just used me. You never cared, you only cared about yourself. Now I'll return the favor. Then that Vergil stabs Rias in the stomach like what happened to Vergil when he was betrayed. Then he was about to nail it again, but received an attack from Kiba. Kiba. She said it quietly, annoyingly. Vergil creates a clone, and this one was for Kiba. Clone. You think that pretty suit is going to save you, mocking. The clone launches an attack eliminating Kiba. Grayfia. Kiba was eliminated, seriously. Dante was fighting against Mio, but Chisato appeared. Chisato. Basara stop what happened to that cute boy who loved me and loved me, seriously. Dante. He died the day he was betrayed, seriously. Dante creates a clone to fight Chisato. The clone was having an advantage against Chisato, but in a careless moment the clone had made a rain of swords at Chisato eliminating her. Grayfia, Chisato eliminated Syria. Dante did the same as his clone by eliminating Mio. Grayfia, Mio eliminated Syria. Han Meliodas. Meliodas had massacred Razor and Ichika and Akame massacred Razor's entourage. The three of them do a super attack that eliminates Razor and his entourage. Grayfia. Razor and his entourage were eliminated, serious. Now Vergil made a rain of swords plus an electrical storm, thus eliminating Rias. You may wonder what happened to Griselda, well Vergil simply knocked her out since he knows she wasn't involved when he was betrayed. Grayfia. Rias lost therefore the Sparta faction wins the fight, serious. Vergil. And don't think we didn't notice the stamps they put on, seriously. Everyone looks with a bad face at the factions. Dante. They are not only traitors but also cowards, seriously. Griselda approached Vergil. Griselda. I want to go with you, seriously. Vergil. Sure, curious. Griselda. I love you Vergil, I don't want to get away from you, seriously. Vergil. Okay, let's go, seriously. The Sparta faction went to the kingdom of Astoria. Vergil now took Griselda with whoever was waiting for him. See it in the next chapter. Chapter 20 The Birth. It's been 5 months since the raiding game where the Sparta clan won, but it turns out that the factions put seals so they would lose, but it didn't work. Pandora and Athena had a big stomach, but not that big, but they would give birth in 4 months. It turns out that the babies they are expecting are twins, for Pandora they are a boy and a girl and Athena they are 2 girls. After that it turned out that Scathach and Akame became pregnant with Arthur and are 3 months pregnant. In the case of Momo and Raruko, they are 2 months pregnant since they began to have dizziness and fainting after the raiding game. Present. We are with Pandora who had a big belly for 5 months of pregnancy just like Athena. Pandora. Just 4 more months and they'll be by my side, stroking her belly. Athena. I want to have my girls by my side now, stroking her belly. But Vergil and Dante. Both were training with Saji and Arthur since who knows if the factions will attack the kingdom, maybe yes, maybe not, but most likely, since like every fanfic, the traitors do not understand the word leave alone. After a long time, both of them had girls who loved them for who they were and not for what they had, since their fiancés were honest, not like their ex-harem. Now we see Arthur and Saji eating in a cafe. Arthur. How are you doing with girls? Curious. Saji. Not bad, I'm aware of his cravings since that's exhausting and his mood swings, seriously. Arthur. I understand you although Skathich only has cravings and a came too, seriously. Saji. We will be good parents, smiling. Arthur. I'm aware that my Skathich is okay, seriously. Saji. And what about Vergil and Dante? They have their fiancés and it will take 4 months for their children to be born, seriously. Arthur. I want to be the best man at the wedding, seriously. Saji. I wanted to but now we must help our friends in case they want to plan a wedding, seriously. Arthur. I have everything planned for your wedding since they asked me to be the best man, seriously. Saji. I'll take care of the food since I cook well, smiling. Arthur. Now let's go home to rest so they don't keep demanding answers from us, seriously. They both returned to Sparta Castle. 1 month later. This month several things happened. Griselda confessed her love to Vergil and he accepted her feelings, but they had to talk it over with Vergil's other fiancés and they accepted. Pandora only had 3 months left for her babies to be born, just like Athena. Akame and Skathich were 3 months pregnant and Momo and Raruka were 4 months pregnant. This month Lefe and Office experienced dizziness and fainting and were found to be pregnant. 3 months later. It's been 9 months and now they are in the hospital where the birth of Vergil and Dante's children is taking place. Pandora and Athena were insulting the brothers while the doctors were helping them in childbirth. Doctor. Pandora-sama just bid we are almost ready, seriously. Pandora only had tears of pain for that, but she had to listen to the doctor. Athena did the same thing as Pandora, she listened to the doctors who attended the birth. 1 hour later. Vergil and Dante were waiting for the doctors, but a doctor came out. Doctor. Sparta twins, seriously. Vergil. What's up, curious? Doctor. The delivery was a success. The babies were born healthy. Now they can see their loved ones, smiling. Dante. Thank you, doctor, smiling. They both entered the room where Pandora and Athena were. Pandora had 2 babies with her, one was a boy with almost dark purple hair like his mother and there was a girl with light hair like a mix of white and purple. Ignore the background. On Athena's side there were 2 girls, one was just like her and the other was like Dante. Dante approached Athena and Vergil approached Pandora. Pandora. My children are here, happy. Vergil. My son has hair almost identical to yours, smiling. Pandora. My daughter has hair almost like yours, but she has my eyes, smiling. Vergil. You want to name them, curious. Pandora. The boy will be called Victor, it matches your name, smiling. Vergil. And my daughter will be called Pamela, smiling. Pandora. It matches my name, smiling. Dante. My first daughter is beautiful and just like her mother, smiling. Athena. My other daughter looks like her father, smiling. Dante. My daughter should be given a name, smiling. Athena. The one who looks like you, I'll call her Daniela, she has your initial, smiling. Dante. The other one will be called Alice, it matches your initial, smiling. Athena. How pretty, smiling. Now that Vergil and Dante's babies were born, I'll generate the factions. When you find out about this, see it in the next chapter. Special hunting. It's not something related to the characters, but we go in and we punish the traitors who is with me. Luistarth 4236. I have my sniper, my crossbow with arrows dipped in holy water, my holy sword and finally my laser gun, taking my weapons. My sacred sword. The more comments, the longer the special will last. I'm walking with my arsenal, but I bump into someone. It was Leo Saishi who was there. Leo Seshi. Hello Luistarth 4236, why are you going to punish the traitors at Arsenal? Curious. Luistarth 4236. Of course you have your weapons, curious. Leo Saishi. I have my shotgun with infinite ammo and a double barrel, shows his shotgun. Luistarth 4236. You have a holy sword, curious. Leo Saishi. Yes, the Dark Excalibur, shows his sword. Luistarth 4236. What an incredible sword ready for hunting, curious. Leo Saishi. I was born ready, smiling. We walked until we met a friend. Luistarth 4236. Nilsangati, from what I see you are ready for the hunt, looking at his machete and AK-47 Dragon Slayer. Nilsangati. I'm ready to punish those traitors, firm. Luistarth 4236. Now let the hunt begin unless someone else wants to join the hunt, seriously. The three of us continued walking, but an idea came to me. Build a futuristic airplane. Luisterth 4236. Let's go hunting. Walking is tiring, smiling. The three of us got on the plane and it began to take off. I pulled out what looked like a folder with several names. Luisterth 4236. You know what our goal is, right? Curious. Bulsangati. It is to punish traitors, curious. Leoseshi. You know you deserve to be punished. I'll have a lot of fun hitting the pretty boy with his sword. Bulsangati. I want to hit the Siskin, seriously. Luisterth 4236. We already have everything planned, but I think someone else wants to make them suffer, seriously. The three of us saw that we were arriving at the underworld where the traitors were. Luisterth 4236. Operation Punishment begins, smiling. But at that moment someone appeared and it was Luisterth 4236, Dominic Toretto surprise. Dominic. I found out about your plan, they deserve to be punished, family is never abandoned, seriously. Luisterth 4236. You have your weapons, curious. Dominic. I have my infinite crossbow, my shotgun with magazine, my laser pistol etc. Shows his weapons. Leoseshi. I see you're ready, seriously. Dominic. Family is always together, smiling. But another person appeared, it was none other than Leoseshi. Naruto, but weren't you in another dimension? Surprised. Naruto. They published the punishment and I'm ready. I have weapons for those traitors and I saw that I was facing many traitors and I have my sword, smiling. The five went to the underworld just outside the Gremory castle. Luisterth 4236. Have anti-magic collars so you can't be controlled and magic can't work on us, smiling. Who else wants to join the hunt? We all put on the anti-magic necklaces and broke the window where the traitors are surprised. Rias. Who are you, seriously? Luisterth 4236. Let's teach them a lesson not to betray Vergil and Dante. Now they must pay for their sins, with my crossbow in hand. Sirzechs. Some humans haha, mocking. But the Siskin shot an arrow in his face, it didn't go through him, but it did scratch his face. Leoseshi. We're not joking, Siskin, with his shotgun. Rainer creates a spear of light, but she felt an arrow, and it was Nilsangati. Nilsangati. Wow, the boar didn't feel my crossbow, aiming with her crossbow. Luisterth 4236. Now traitors, say hello to my little friend, taking out my sniper rifle. I shot Azazel in the wings causing him to fall. Razor tried to jump, but Nilsangati cut off his arm with his machete. Nilsangati. Thanks Uncle Jason, with his machete in his hand. Razor attacks him with fire, but Nilsangati shoots him with his Act Dragon Slayer. Nilsangati. El Paulo Frito Joker. I was in front of Sirzechs and I kicked him in the lower back causing him to fall to the ground in pain. Nilsangati. I see that hurt you, you bucking Siskin, mockingly. Luisterth 4236. Now the crossbow, loading his crossbow. I shot Grayfia with the arrows, several demons attacked me, but Toretto shot them. Toretto. Attacking from behind is for cowards, with his shotgun. Leoseshi. Time of the sword, taking out his sword. Kiba jumped in to fight, but Leo kicked him in the groin. With a single movement, Leo cut Kiba's sword. Leoseshi. I see that your sword was just a toy, mocking. Kiba wanted to fight, but Leo stabbed him in the leg with his sword. Leo. Say hello to my shotgun, shoots him in the stomach. Naruto was fighting the fallen angels, but he uses a Rasen Shuriken to eliminate them. Bulsangati. Now Siskin tries Uncle Jason's machete, he stabs him in the stomach. Sirzechs screamed in pain. Before Grayfia acted, she felt some pricks and saw that many arrows had stuck in her, but she felt weak because of the holy water. Luisterth 4236. Crossbow now to the menstruation hairs, aiming his crossbow. I shot Rias in the stomach and she fell. Bekendo was about to shoot a lightning bolt at me, but someone stabbed her with a sword. It was Toretto. Dominic. Attacking from behind is cowardly, with his sword. Dominic dodged an attack from Kaneko, and then Nilsangati shoots him with his Act Dragon Slayer. Nilsangati. Now I'll take care of this flea-bitten cat, with his machete. Luisterth 4236. I'll take care of the cheap goddess, seriously. I went for it, but he had tricks up his sleeve. Luisterth 4236. You have no idea that magic doesn't work on me, sarcastic. Then I used my sword to cut through Chisato, but obviously it wasn't going to kill her. Luistarth 4236. Now you'll pay for your sins, seriously. I shot several arrows at him so he wouldn't move. Luistarth 4236. I bet your milk is bitter, disgusted. Toretto was with a shotgun and had hit Azazel. Toretto. The bird is on the ground, seriously. But he dodged a spear and saw Michael. But he was shot down and they saw a guy in black clothes. T-800. Someone called a Terminator with his shotgun. Leo Saishi. You came to the hunt at 800, surprised. T-800. Even though I'm an android, I don't kill innocent people, that's why I'm here, seriously. T-800 uses his shotgun to shoot his enemies and then takes out a lightsaber. T-800. Luke Skywalker gave me a lightsaber, seriously. Thus continued the punishment of the factions as we gave them the punishment they so richly deserve. Chapter 21. Another confrontation. The Sparda brothers took care of their new children, but Vergil is the one who has a son and a daughter. Dante only has 2 daughters. Several months passed since the Sparda twins' babies were born and the months of the pregnancies of Saji and Arthur's couples passed. Arthur and Scathach had a daughter with purple hair like Scathach and she was like her. But there was another baby of Arthur and he was a boy and he was just like Arthur, but he had a normal arm. The sons of Arthur and Scathach are called Arthur because it matches the name Arthur. Arthur and Scathach's daughter is named Sally because she had the initial of Scathach. Akane had 2 children with Arthur, a girl and a boy. The girl's name is Akane, since it's like saying Akane only with Nai. The son's name is Jackson. Then Saji's children were born. With Momo he had a daughter named Mary. With Ruruko he had a daughter named Sarah. Present. We are with Lefei. Lately Lefei began to feel dizzy and faint and went to the doctor to see what he had. But it was not the only office that presented something similar. The office and Lefei went to the doctor to see what they had. It turns out they were pregnant with Vergil. Griselda was not yet pregnant with Vergil, but she wants to have a baby with him someday. Christian lady had the same symptoms as Office and Lefei and were pregnant. Vergil and Dante almost fainted from the news, but they would take responsibility, they were not going to make the same mistakes as the Hyoudou and the Taoju. Now we are in the ocean where there is a yacht. On this yacht the Sparda were peacefully enjoying everything they wanted. After all, they had earned a well-deserved vacation. Vergil. The children fell asleep, that's good, smiling. Dante. It's good that you took your motion sickness pill, it's one we made, smiling. Sparda. We deserve a break after all, smiling. Eva. From time to time we should rest, smiling. Pandora. My babies are adorable, smiling. Athena. My daughters are beautiful like Dante and me, smiling. Vergil. Thank goodness this yacht is indestructible, smiling. Everyone was having fun on the yacht, but like every story, there are always spoilsport. Magic circles appear where certain unwanted people come out. Vergil. Seriously, they don't learn, with a certain tone of annoyance. Rias. Issei please come back with us we miss you, sad. Vergil. What part of me not being Issei didn't you understand? Annoyed. Leo. Basara please come back with me, sad. Dante. You have a brain like a nut, annoyed. Vergil. Difficult decisions require strong wills, seriously. Bakeno. Issei come back with me, I'll give you everything you want, flirty. Issei. Enough, seriously, you don't learn, seriously. Sirzechs. If you return to my sister you will be a supreme class devil and you will have some evil pieces, with a smile. Vergil and Dante. Haha. The babies didn't hear anything because they put silent seals so nothing would wake them up. Vergil. Oh, you're an idiot Siskin, mockingly. Dante. Not even with the humiliation of the rating game can you get it into your head that we're not going back, seriously. Kaneko. Senpai please I don't want the father of my kittens to leave, sad. Kuroka. Issei you're the father of my kittens, seriously. Vergil. Ah, I'm fed up, seriously. Vergil, already tired, uses his power and pulls all the traitors into the water. Vergil. I was already fed up, annoyed. Now the yacht returned to the Sparta kingdom and the traitors were swimming to the shore. Chapter 22. Comic Chase. The Sparta had a bitter encounter with the traitors and threw them into the sea so they wouldn't ruin their yacht. After that Vergil was with his brother taking care of his baby so they grow well. Dante was a great dad and his brother was the best father, but they knew they would have more children to take care of in the future. Office and Lefei were weeks pregnant and when Arthur found out he wanted to talk to Vergil. Who am I kidding? I wanted to destroy him for getting Lefei pregnant since Lefei's brother didn't take it very well. Arthur. Come here I'll tear you to pieces for making my sister pregnant, annoyed. Vergil. I won't let you catch me, running. When he was going to catch him, he was hit by a bus. Then Arthur wanted to catch him, but Vergil appeared behind him pushing him off a cliff and falling into the void. After that Vergil escaped from Arthur, he knew that his fiancées were not going to help him. Then Arthur had a dog whistle to attack Vergil, but he replaced it with dynamite, and when Arthur blows it, it explodes in his face, leaving his face singed. After that Arthur was still chasing Vergil to hit him, but he hit so much with a hammer that he hit a tire, and the hammer came back hitting him in the head, and he dropped the hammer and fell to the ground. Another attempt by Arthur was to build some improvised wings to fly to catch Vergil, but he didn't see where he was going and crashed into a mailbox, and things came out of his head. After that Vergil ran and hid near a pool. Arthur arrived at the pool and then Vergil throws a dog food and it falls in Arthur's back pocket and a dog comes and pushes Arthur into the pool. Arthur was in the water and Vergil escaped, but Arthur still wanted to hit him as he wanted to smash him to pieces. Then Vergil throws a paper airplane with dynamite and it hits Arthur, exploding and burning his face. After that they were still having a comical chase, but Vergil puts a trampoline and Arthur ends up climbing up until he hits the ceiling. After that Arthur placed a trap on a tree, but Vergil dodged it without problem, and then Arthur stepped on the trap and ended up hanging from the tree. After that Arthur still didn't give up and chased Vergil, but he wasn't going to give up. Then Arthur grabs a shotgun and starts shooting at Vergil, but he dodges the shots until they reach a garage where Vergil escapes through the window, but Arthur kept shooting at him, but he didn't realize that gunpowder or flammable powder fell on him in the chase, and when he saw the fire he tried to escape, but his shotgun blocked the way. At that moment an explosion is heard and the garage is destroyed, and Arthur is seen taking out a white flag, indicating that he surrendered. Later Arthur was all bandaged and with several bruises on his body. Chapter 23. New Babies. We are in the kingdom of Astoria where Arthur was still all beaten up by the comical chase he did to Vergil, since he dodged the obstacles without problem. After that Arthur gave up as he endured many blows and explosions from the comical chase. After what happened, days would pass where Office and Leffe had their cravings, but Vergil had to be aware, but they also took care of their children, since Pandora and Athena must rest from time to time. After that Arthur took care of his children as well as Saji. Present. We see Vergil taking care of his children while Pandora rests since she was very tired, and Vergil offered to take care of them. Vergil. While your mother sleeps I will take care of you, smiling. Vergil fed them and bathed them, and then began reading them a bedtime story. Vergil. And they all lived happily ever after, closing the storybook. The babies were finally sleeping peacefully, and Vergil came out quietly and then started sleeping on the couch while watching television. Pandora was better now that she could sleep well, she looked more relaxed and saw the babies asleep, but with their night light. Pandora looked at this scene with tenderness and love, then closed the door quietly. She went down to the living room where she saw Vergil asleep. Pandora. My love is the best father in the world. He let me rest to take care of my son, smiling. Pandora snuggled up to Vergil and then fell asleep. Dante was in the other room asleep as he took care of his daughters in the afternoon, while Athena rested, but Athena curled up and then slept with Dante. Months later. We are in the hospital of the Sparta kingdom. It turns out that Vergil and Dante's couples were about to give birth. They screamed like crazy while the doctors did their work, so the babies were born. These are the children of Vergil. Vergil's daughters are twins, the only difference is that one has different hair. Olivia the daughter of Office and Vergil. Lisa the daughter of Leffe and Vergil. Now Dante's daughters. Victoria, the daughter of Dante and Trish. Leslie is the daughter of Dante and Lady, but imagine she is a baby. Now that the missing daughters were born it was the happiest day for the brothers, but what would happen if the factions found out? See it in the next chapter. Chapter 24 Marriage Proposal. Previously the missing daughters of Vergil and Dante had been born, and they were very happy that their daughters were born since now their partners were not pregnant and had their babies. They couldn't be happier, but what they didn't know was that the factions discovered the birth of Vergil and Dante's daughters. Present. After a long time they were planning something, and it turns out they want to propose to their fiancées now that they are together. We see Vergil asleep, but someone would enter his room. It turns out it was Griselda. Vergil. Griselda, sleepy. Griselda was totally naked, this made Vergil blush a lot. Griselda started kissing Vergil, and she, very excited, said. Griselda. Make me yours, blushing. Lemon skipped. After that we see the Sparta brothers were in a mall to buy wedding rings since they want to propose to their fiancés. They couldn't decide which ring to buy because they wanted it to be a special moment. They found really beautiful wedding rings. The rings that Vergil bought. The rings that Dante bought. After that they had everything planned to ask their fiancés to marry them, and now they just had to. Vergil took his fiancées to a fancy restaurant just like Dante, and then they went to the kingdom of Astoria viewpoint. They put on a fireworks show and said the following. They want to marry me. Vergil's fiancées. If we want to marry you, Vergil, they rushed to hug him. Dante's fiancées. If we want to marry you, Dante, they rushed to embrace Dante. Now the brothers proposed marriage to their fiancées. Now what will happen? See it in the next chapter. Chapter 25 The Wedding. Previously the Sparda proposed marriage to their fiancées, but what the Sparda did not know was that they were being watched by the factions. The brothers' exes were deathly and jealous. They already knew that they already have children, but they were really angry and jealous, especially certain girls who wanted to have children with the brothers. The brothers knew that sooner or later they would be discovered, but they had to be alert in case they were attacked. Present. We are with Vergil who had fainted. The reason is that Griselda was pregnant since after the night of passion she had with Vergil, several weeks passed and she was experiencing dizziness and fainting and went to the doctor. When they told her she was pregnant she was very happy and told Vergil and he fainted from the news. Then he ends up waking up and told Griselda that he would take responsibility for the baby. She very happily kissed him and after that she told the news. His family supports him and his friends too. When everything was cleared up, Vergil and Dante asked Arthur and Saji to be the best men at the wedding. They gladly accepted as they are happy with their new life in the kingdom. No one gives them orders, they can rest easy. There was still time for the wedding, but they had to be patient, but they had to be alert in case the factions ruined the wedding. Now we see Vergil and Dante trying on suits for the wedding, but they were uncomfortable. Vergil. This suit is uncomfortable, seriously. Dante. Yes, it is uncomfortable, seriously. Vergil. But if we want to be elegant we should use them, seriously. Dante. You're right, seriously. Vergil. We have to keep looking at which suits are more comfortable, seriously. But the factions. They were really pissed off because some bitches took away their beloved ones, even if they humiliated them in the rating game. Rias. That bitch Pandora and her friends took my Issei away from me, annoyed. Mio. And that bitch Athena and her friends took my Basara away from me, annoyed. That was the thought of all the ex-Sparda. Sapphire. Now what do we do, seriously? Musin. Since Basara left Mio, she's been sad, seriously. Zeodicus. Since Issei left Rias, she cries all day and regrets having betrayed him, seriously. Venelana. Now what do we do, seriously? Zeodicus. We must convince them to return with our daughters, seriously. They decided to ruin the brothers' wedding, but they don't know that they have everything planned. Kingdom of Astoria. We are in the place where the church is located where the Sparda wedding would take place. They were nervous like every young person before getting married. But at that moment the girls arrive in beautiful white dresses. They arrived at the altar where all the twins' friends, children and family were. Father. We are here to unite in holy matrimony the Sparda twins and these beautiful young women, smiling. Everyone was happy about this beautiful moment. Finally, past wounds were no longer there to bother them. Father. Vergil-san, do you accept Pandora, Office, Leffe and Griselda as your wives? Smiling. Lincoln. I accept, smiling. Father. Pandora, Office, Leffe and Griselda accept Vergil as their husband, curious. Vergil couples. We accept, blushing. Father. Athena, Trish and Lady accept Dante as their husband, curious. Dante's couples. We accept, blushing. Father. Dante, do you accept Athena, Trish and Lady as your wives? Curious. Dante. I accept, smiling. Father. Now I have declared you husband and wife, you may kiss your respective partners, smiling. Vergil kisses his now wives and Dante did the same. The factions couldn't get in because the Sparda put up a barrier to prevent them from coming in to ruin the wedding. They had to withdraw to avoid problems, but they are not going to give up so easily now they had something else planned to happen, see it in the next chapter. Chapter 26 Declaration of War. After the wedding of the Sparda and their fiancées, it was the happiest day of the Sparda, but the guards told them that the factions wanted to ruin their wedding, but thanks to a special barrier of the students of the Magical Institute. After that the factions had to go somewhere else since they had no other choice, since if they stayed they would be in trouble. Present. It's been 9 months and we are at the hospital where Griselda's twins are being born since her water broke and her babies are about to be born. After an hour, Griselda's twins were born, indicating that they are no longer in Griselda's womb. They were a boy and a girl. The boy was named Edward and the girl was named Grace because she matched Griselda. Griselda. Finally my children are here, caressing her babies. Vergil. Finally our children are here, smiling. Griselda. I'm a mother now and I haven't fallen, smiling. Vergil. We put a spell on you so you don't fall, seriously. After that we see Vergil taking care of his children while his wives slept. Griselda and the others were sleeping since Vergil had to take care of his children, since he had to be a loving father and should not let his wives always take care of his children. They had to rest. After several days Vergil was training. And he had a bad feeling that the factions would attack them one day, but he had to be on the lookout for any suspicious activity from the factions. Dante also had the same thought as his brother and decided to train with his brother just in case. Arthur and Saji also trained to be more alert for any attacks from the factions. One day the Sparda and their friends were eating at a picnic they had organized. Vergil. We organized a picnic, smiling. Dante. We really did a great job, brother, having this picnic, smiling. Vergil. I hope no idiot ruins the picnic we have planned, smiling. Dante. Now our life is perfect, smiling. But at that moment a portal appears where the factions and the ex-Sparda come out. Vergil and Dante. Really, with clear annoyance on their faces. Rias. Issei, please come back with us, we miss you, sad. Issei Basara, come back with us, we miss you, sad. But they saw that Vergil and Dante were married and had children. Rias. Issei, I'm supposed to be your first wife, annoyed. Vergil. Remember that we are no longer a couple. I did a lot for you and you paid me back by replacing me with someone supposedly better than me, annoyed. Scarlet. But what about my little dragon? I thought we would be together, annoyed. Vergil. You said that it was my fault that your reputation was ruined and that I was just a perverted piece of trash, annoyed. Issei Basara, you said we would get married someday, annoyed. Dante. I saved you many times and you replaced me with someone supposedly better than me, annoyed. In a fit of rage, Rias and the others attacked Vergil and Dante's wives and children. But they were protected by Sparda and Eva, who used a force field. Vergil and Dante were angry now if the factions are fried. Vergil. Up to here, annoyed. Dante. Now if we reach the limit now I declare the fourth ninja war, annoyed. Sorry, wrong story. For the background, creepy music. Take 2. Dante. Now we declare war on the factions, annoyed. Everyone was surprised by the declaration, now they declared war on the factions. What will happen? See it in the next chapter. Chapter 27, Final Battle, Final. Previously the Sparda declared war on the factions after the brothers' exes in a fit of rage tried to kill the brothers' wives and children. This was the straw that broke the camel's back for the brothers. They could no longer stand that their exes continued to bother them. They were packing their weapons for the war they declared against the factions. They were now prepared against the factions. This time they are going to use all their power to defeat the factions. Vergil. They are ready for war, seriously. Dante. This time we will use all our power to put a stop to it, seriously. Arthur. Now I'll get revenge on that group for hurting my sister's husband, seriously. Saji. I'll get revenge on Sona for everything that old bitch did to me, seriously. Lefe. We're finally going to kick the factions' asses, seriously. The office. We must teach them that you already have owners, seriously. Andorra. Now I'm going to kick that period hair's ass, seriously. Griselda. I'll put Zenobia in her place for hurting my Vergil, seriously. Athena. I'm going to hurt that menstruation hair of mine and her friends for hurting my Dante, seriously. Trish. I want to hit the cheap goddess now, seriously. Lady. We must teach them a lesson they will never forget, seriously. They all had the same thought of making the factions suffer for the damage caused to the brothers. The final battle would begin in a few days, but everyone had to be prepared for the approaching war between the Sparda faction and the factions. The brothers had outstanding accounts with the traitors and were going to give them what they so richly deserved. Vergil. Pay attention, seriously. Dante. They could be anywhere, although there are still days left until the war, we must be prepared, seriously. Days later. After that we are with the Sparda faction and in front of them were the factions, but everyone knew what was about to happen. Vergil. Please leave and no one will get hurt, seriously. Sirzechs. Not until they return to us, seriously. Vergil. Seriously, you shitty siskin, seriously. Rias. Issei, leave those bitches and come back with us, seriously. Vergil. I told you I'm not Issei and you're going to pay dearly for it, seriously. Sirzechs. Then attack, annoyed. Everyone started fighting against everyone else. But Vergil and Dante's loved ones fought against their loved ones' exes. Vergil was fighting against Sirzechs and the albino had the advantage against the Siskin. Sirzechs. You really don't want to go back with my sister, annoyed. Vergil. She betrayed me along with the others, but instead of warning me about the betrayal, you listened to the period hair. Now you'll pay dearly for it, annoyed. Vergil was using his dark armor against Sirzechs. Vergil was beating Sirzechs, but the Redeed used his powers a lot against the albino, but Vergil was very agile. After fighting, Vergil gives him a super attack that knocks him out and stabs him with his sword, not killing him, but leaving him badly injured. He then dodged a spear of light courtesy of Azazel, and he was with Baraquiel. Baraquiel. My daughter misses you, you can't forgive her, annoyed. Vergil. Because of you Akeno's mother was murdered, annoyed. And that Vergil uses his attack to leave Baraquiel badly wounded. After that Vergil went against Azazel to fight and he had the advantage over the leader of the fallen and then he made many attacks that left him unconscious. With Dante. Dante was fighting Michael and he had the advantage against the Archangel. Dante had the advantage over the Archangel. Dante. You should have fallen by committing treason. If your father were alive, he would be disappointed in you, annoyed. Michael was all angry about what he said, but Dante shoots him. Michael thought that those bullets would not do anything to him, but he was wrong because the bullets hurt him and then he stabbed him with his sword, leaving him badly injured. But he dodged a razor attack and slammed it into a car, setting off the alarm. Then angry Razor comes back to fight, but Dante made an attack. Dante. Cancellation, seriously. Razor felt a lot of pain and then was defeated and then unconscious. After that it turned out that Razor's wounds did not regenerate since the cancellation technique can cancel enemy techniques. But after that we see the Sparda wives sweeping the floor with the brothers' exes. Pandora. Even if you kill us, you won't make them want to come back to you, seriously. Rias. Shut up bitch, it's your fault Issei left me, annoyed. Pandora. I didn't trade him for a traitor, annoyed. Rias rushes to fight Pandora, but the purple-haired girl knows what to do against the period hairs. Pandora. Eats dirt menstrual hair, annoying. Pandora gives her a super attack that leaves her unconscious with many wounds. I have something planned for the traitors so they don't die, I have something planned. Then Pandora was fighting against Akeno, but she felt something strange in her. When he hits her on the head he saw a kind of seal on Akeno's forehead. Pandora knew about seals because she is an expert, but the seal that Akeno had was a mind control seal, and the silver-haired maid had a seal too, and Pandora simply broke the seals, and their heads hurt. Akeno. What happened, in pain. But Vergil appeared. Vergil. Pandora, what's going on because they're confused, seriously. Pandora. Vergil, these girls were being manipulated by the factions, and the silver-haired maid also explained what happened, seriously. Akeno. Rias is bad, she controlled me because I didn't want to betray you, seriously. Grayfia. I tried to warn you about the faction's plan, but they put mind control seals on us, and they made deals with the Rizavum, seriously. Vergil. Those unfortunates knew something strange happened, Akeno is very sweet, she couldn't change overnight, seriously. Akeno. Now we have no mind control, I want to get revenge on Rias, seriously. Grayfia. That wretch Sirzechs will pay for this, annoyed. Vergil heals them with his magic and then talks. Vergil. You are no longer hurt, take advantage of this opportunity to make those traitors suffer, seriously. At that point the battle continued its course, but the Sparda had the advantage. After that all the members of the factions were all badly wounded and the Sparda were with few scratches. But some girls were freed as they also had mind control seals. Those who had the mind control seal were the Razor Queen, the Razor Knight and Karumi. Chisato also had a mind control seal. Vergil. I found out about your dirty tricks with Rizavum. Now we'll send you to Tartarus, seriously. And that Vergil and Dante invoke their magic and then some giant doors appear. Vergil. Now to clean up the demon clans, seriously. The doors open where dragons made of fire come out. The dragons took chains from their mouths and caught all the traitors and dragged them to Tartarus and then the doors closed and they disappeared from the place. That's for locking Issei in that place. In other stories, accept your punishment. After that it seemed that everything was calm, but the Chaos Brigade and its leader Rizavum Lucifer and his right hand Euclid Lucifuge appeared. Vergil. Now the old shit, seriously. Rizavum, Vaya fs Issei Hyoudou seriously. Vergil. Brother, you take care of Euclid and I'll take care of the old man, seriously. Both of them launched themselves against the Chaos Brigade and Vergil was fighting against Rizavum, but both were evenly matched. Rizavum increased his power and then launched into the fight against Vergil. Vergil undid the armor and increased his power to then fight Lucifer. Rizavum had more power stored and increased to his maximum power and now the son of the original Lucifer had all the advantage against Vergil. Vergil was fighting against Rizavum, but the descendant of Lucifer was having all the advantage. Rizavum. You know, after I kill you, I'll kill your children and your wives will be breeding machines for the original demons ha 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 ha, laughing like a maniac. What Rizavum didn't know was that he made the worst mistake of his life. Vergil got so angry that he used his true power and his devil trigger. Vergil now had the full advantage against Rizavum and the original demon was having trouble. Rizavum. How is it possible that I, the descendant of Lucifer, am being humiliated by a brat, annoyed. Vergil. No one meddles with my family, annoyed. Vergil starts charging an attack on his sword and then in the blink of an eye, Rizavum was cut into pieces. Then he realized that it was a clone and the real Rizavum was nearby and Vergil found him and started cutting him into pieces and to make sure he killed all the Rizavum clones. Now Rizavum Lucifer is dead and what happened to Dante? Dante had massacred Euclid, but when he was about to kill him, he had a mind control seal and Dante broke said seal. Euclid still had to pay, but they would let Grayfia handle his punishment. Now the war is over and the Chaos Brigade now ceased to exist and all their hideouts were destroyed, so there will be no future problems. Epilogue. It's been several years since the Sparda war against the factions and many things have happened. First it turns out that Akeno and the others who were controlled by the mind control seal wanted to warn them about the traitors' plan, but so they wouldn't say anything they put the mind control seal on them. They were shocked by such a revelation. They were used as if they were puppets and they did not betray them because they wanted to, but because they were controlled. After the war ended, the Sparda faction could now rest easy without the factions bothering them. Now peace reigned in the supernatural world, now the Chaos Brigade no longer exists and all their hideouts were destroyed, including every clone of Rizavum or Euclid, and all the brigade projects were already destroyed. Also, Milikas is now the son of Vergil and Grayfia and they changed Sirzechs' DNA for Vergil's DNA and now he was Milikas Sparda. Grayfia married Vergil and they had a daughter named Melanie. Akeno was eventually forgiven and married Vergil and had a daughter named Shuri in memory of Akeno's mother. Vergil had his sword upgraded and is the new king of Astoria. Dante had his sword improved but it was another design and bigger. After a long time, peace finally reigned in the Sparda family. Now no one will attack them. Afterwards, Eubeluna, the queen of Razor, married Vergil and they had 2 children, a boy and a girl. Harumi was forgiven as well as Shisato since Dante still loved them inside and they married Dante and had 3 children. The other pieces married Saji and Arthur and they live happily. Vergil freed Albion before imprisoning Valerie. Albion turned out to be a woman named Elizabeth. Elizabeth met Meliodas and they fell in love and got married months after the war and had children. Now what happened to the traitors? Well, they didn't die since they are locked in Tartarus for all eternity and are paying for their sins and actions against the Sparda. The girls were still obsessed with the brothers, but they will never leave Tartarus since they sealed the doors with a seal that cannot be destroyed with anything and they will be there for all eternity. Present. Everyone was enjoying the beach and the boys were having fun surfing in the sea and the girls were sunbathing. The boys surfed with ease and enthusiasm. Vergil. Finally everything is calm, smiling. Dante. There are no more enemies or factions, smiling. Arthur. Now the traitors are paying for their sins and actions, smiling. Saji. Now let's stop thinking and have fun, smiling. They started having fun surfing. The girls played with their sons in the sand making sandcastles or the boys burying their mothers in the sand. Now that everything is resolved, the Sparda lived happily ever after. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.